TikTok. I'm busting my butt, trying to get it right, to get it right. I said, I am busting my butt, trying to get it right. I'm trying to get it right. What's up, everybody? Everyone's piling in. Yeah, what's up, Delicate? So good to see you. Thanks for the tip. Oddly, I don't see a lot of people writing about it right now. Although I guess maybe I haven't done a great job at looking. That could be. I'm breaking the story.
Bust it wide open.
Delicate broke the story.
Nice one.
Too real. Hang on. I'm just Delicate. I'm so behind. So give me 1 sec. I'm just getting this one launched over on TikTok because I'm late at AF. Late AF. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're live on TikTok now. Angela will be joining us momentarily. We're late there, so let me transition this in because we're just waiting for Angela. Okay, what's up, guys? How's it going? Do we have more than one person? I think it's just you, Delicate. You and me. What a crazy day. How was your day? How is your day going? You're still in it. You're only 4 o'clock at home. I had a missing California day. It's missing Cali. I've been getting them a lot lately, my missing Cali days. I don't normally have them. But today, I was missing Cali. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll tell her. I'll direct her right away. I was like, oh, is this a comment? No, it's something else. I have a little bio that they pop up on TikTok that I rarely see. And I just saw it. I was like, oh, I better update that. I can't even believe it. Oh, who just joined us? Somebody else just joined us. Delicate. So you're in, where's that? I thought it was in Southern California. I thought you were up in Northern California. But there too? I can't even believe what's going on. I mean, nobody can believe what's going on. I can't believe what's happening. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's an interesting thing because I absolutely don't want to be a political podcast. I was following politics during Trump's first run, and I almost died. I made myself sick. And I ruined a perfectly good OLED TV with an MSNBC emblazoned logo, burned in on my OLED, and ruined the TV. So I was like, I was not a rich man, but I got this TV for coloring, and I ruined it watching politics. You know what I'm saying? People are popping in and out at YouTube, at TikTok. They're like, man, Angela ain't there. I ain't there. Forget about it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, San Francisco, Delicate on YouTube is saying that Trump declared war on a bunch of democratically run places in this country. And well, Cosmic Urgency is embarrassed for me because I watched MSNBC, and you can throw whatever you want at me and I'll accept that. You can throw pie at me. I watch none of it now, but yeah, totally. It's such garbage. I figured it out. It took me a minute to figure it out. I didn't know where to go. First of all, Cosmic Man, where the fuck do you go? You can't go to Fox, and you can't go to, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. You know where I go now? I go to the AP. Mostly I just go to the AP when I want to read about that stuff. What's up, Alyssa? Good to see you. Angela will be with us momentarily. Until then, it's yada da 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 da. It's me, baby. Let's go. What's going on, Leo Edits? How was your day today? It's good to see you over on TikTok. Leo Edits has joined us. Alyssa is here over in Cosmic Urgency, of course, and Delicate. So we got a few people coming in, rolling in. Hopefully we'll have some folks coming in. I am super excited because I have been working on the content. I gotta say this. I gotta tell you guys this because it's really cool. Dr. Susan just joined us. Hello, Dr. Susan. Always good to see you. Very happy. Um, this medium. I got a little distracted there for a second. I apologize, but this medium, this like live thing or whatever, this stuff that we've been doing with YouTube, with TikTok, and now obviously over at YouTube, and it's a creative space for me that like I'm inspired by, and you may not have experienced that necessarily yet, and maybe you won't. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm inspired by this work. And I do consider it work. I consider it like, I did stand up for many years, and then obviously film business, and now I wrote this book, and this YouTube live stuff, and then also just this idea of creating content, specific to whatever might be an expression of myself, or a commingling of expressions, like with Angela, with you guys. It's inspiring the fuck out of me, and so I'm working hard behind the scenes you guys don't see this yet, but it's eventually going to be coming in the way and in the form of content. Some of it is going to be educational content, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited for it. And it's also going to be what I hope eventually starts bringing up the numbers in terms of folks visiting us, so we can like get the chats cooking and stuff. I will say that there's a double-edged sword on that, because I really do enjoy just hanging out with you guys and having this back and forth. I know Angela does. We talk about it afterwards. We talk about it beforehand. It's something we enjoy greatly. And I don't want to lose that aspect of it, because I go and I look at big channels, and, I want to be like, not a big channel, like, crazy or anything, but I would like to have a channel where we're all, where there's a lot of deep engagement for all of our sake. I think it's a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm enjoying it beyond any expectation I could have had going into it, and it's really the people. It's just a never-ending sort of wonderful love affair I have with humanity, man. It really is. Alyssa's asking when the live depositions for Dawn's Plum is coming out. You're so persistent with that question, and I appreciate it, and I think you should always ask that question every time you show up until it finally happens. The first thing I've got to do, Alyssa, is I've got to raise enough money to go get them. They're being held hostage, and the only way I can get to them is through money. And you don't have to apologize. Do not apologize, Alyssa. Do not apologize. You can ask me that every time you come. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your interest in this story. I want to deliver it to you in a way that is fully engaging, truthful, entertaining, also inspirational. Like everything I tried to put into the book, I really try to put that into everything I do. And so I don't want to do that real important work of breaking into Dawn's Plum and the story behind the depositions in an in-depth, dive, without having a good plan. And I don't have one yet. I also don't have the funds, frankly. It's a funny thing, because like on YouTube, I'm the exact opposite. Like most people are like, they're like shooting in like fake houses. They're like, hey, look at me in my nice fake house. I'm a big shot on YouTube, and I'm like talking about how broke I am. I'm just kind of, I guess, a little bit. Maybe that's why I've got 7 total viewers right now. But yeah, I gotta get a bunch of resources together to be able to put together the Free Dawn's Plum project that I think that the story deserves, and you, Alyssa, and everyone who appreciates the story deserves. I'm not gonna do that half-assed, I guess is what I mean. What I have in my possession, I don't have the video depositions in my possession, and I might only be able to work with what I do have. And what I do have is an extensive library of the transactions, and I can show you those right now. For example, this is one of Artie Rob's. All right, I can move it over here because here on you can guys see that on the TikTok. But yeah, there it is. There it is. I'm bad with my cameras. These are depositions. I'll give you a good example of that. For example, question: What did he tell you about any acts or statements from McGuire, DiCaprio, or their representatives? Answer. I don't remember the details, but I talked to her at Sundance 97. I saw her on the street, and she asked me if it was still going on, and she told me about a phone call that Rob had received from a representative. She didn't specify. I don't know if it was Rick or if it was CAA or what it was. She could have been talking about the same conversation. I don't know. But she did also tell me about that someone of Leo's representation contacted them about not working with me or the film. And I just randomly opened up that deposition, and that's already Rob. So there's 100% chance, 100% chance that we're going to dive into that. There's no fucking way I'm not going to get into every word that Artie Robb, myself, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Ethan Suplee, Scott Bloom, Artie Glacken, David Stutman, John Schindler. These are all the names I have behind me. I have volumes and volumes of this. Look how thick this shit is. I have volumes of it. So we're going to go. We're going to get in it. It might be that I'm reading it to you. It might also be that, we have the video. I do have Leo and Toby's video, so I do have some video. I have all of Leo and Toby's videos. But I don't have anybody else's. I don't have Scott. I don't have Kevin. I don't have everybody else. I certainly don't have mine because those are owned by Leo DiCaprio, so he's never going to give me that. I don't know why I didn't get a copy. I got so boned, bro, I didn't even get a copy of my boning. They boned me on my boning. Should be like a lyric in something, don't you think? Something really bad. Are you waiting to get video depositions or the written depositions, Dr. Susan? I have most of the written depositions. I don't have them all, but I've got like all the major players. I got all the major players except Scott Bloom, but he's kind of a forgettable dude, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not like we're going to miss anything from Scott Bloom. He might talk about conversations he and I had, but if he said anything about me saying anything, if he said, if in his deposition, I was present for it, I don't remember him saying anything that was too alarming beyond their party lines of shortened to a feature and nonsense like that. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm looking at two cameras, aren't I? Alyssa said that she's not interested in Ethan Suplee's deposition because he was just a flip-flopper throughout the book. His deposition is wild, Alyssa. His deposition, and the reason why his deposition was wild is because, in part, first of all, he was belligerent. So he was like a supreme asshole through almost his entire deposition. But besides that, he got confrontational, and he even threatened to destroy evidence. So it's a super fun deposition. You definitely want to see Ethan Suplee's deposition. That shit is like crescendo deposition. What's up, Stefan? It's good to see you, man. Very good. How are you doing, by the way? How are all you guys doing? But how you doing, Stefan? It's always good to see you, man. You bring life to this every time, and I really appreciate you so much. It's interesting. Dr. Susan's like, I wouldn't give him the screen time. I would, she only cares to hear me or you to read them rather than see them. Well, that's interesting, and
Really juicy, though.
I totally get it, but it is juicy. That's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, sorry.
I bring to you live from the East Coast, the Southern Atlantic seaboard.
Okay. Am I with you?
From the Milky Way.
Am I here?
Yeah. You're on.
I'm so sorry I'm late, guys. I had to pick up my hoodie from the dry cleaners, and there was a whole line, and there's so much traffic on the way to Beverly Hills, where my dry cleaners is.
Well, it was your assistant. Your assistant was
My
late.
assistant was late again.
Didn't have your ripe banana. And
Didn't have a ripe banana today either. I'm gonna have to let her
set
go.
a perfectly ripe banana.
What'd I miss?
Oh, you missed so much, Angela. I was actually deeply engrossed in Alyssa's request for the deep dive into these depositions, and I told her that it's going to happen. To prove it, I flipped open to a page wherein RD is being questioned by Leo's attorney, And that attorney, by the way, is
I heard that. Yes,
the late great Jay Lively, and I call him the late great because Lively. I'm sorry, I call him the late great because he was a renowned litigator in Hollywood. That's why Leo hired him. So it was really truly my honor to be deposed by him. I loathed him, to be true. To be sure, we hated each other. Me and Jay Lively in the elevator together, and it happened a lot, was an awkward moment every fucking time, because he walked in there and he fucking sported a lie on his lips, and the evidence that he had proved it.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
Angela's gonna leave again. Bless you, Angela.
Oh.
You're a mess. You're a fucking mess.
A disaster today.
Did you hear Delicate saying that she sent you a DM over the weekend? You got to check your DMs.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna have to.
I'm a mess.
We're just. It's DM intervention at this point.
I know. Okay, I know.
It's DM. I'm bad too, but you're bad.
I'm bad.
You're like rotten.
You know why? It's because everything's a shiny key. You know, I'm like, I get distracted by all the shiny things. Horrible. Okay, I'm here.
Well, you busted your ass to get here as late as you were, so I really appreciate it. Thank you, Angela.
Oh yeah.
On behalf of all of us who enjoy your company so much, thank you for busting your ass to be here, because we are so glad to share this moment with you in this space.
We have so much news to talk about today.
There's a whole shit ton. So before we get started, since we've been talking about a little bit about my career, Sly Stone passed away, one of the greatest musicians to ever live, absolutely the greatest funk artist of all time, the guy who I think meant so much to...
His bassist was probably one of the greatest funk artists.
Well, he's certainly, Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah, he has a place on the mantle for sure.
Come on, wow, you're totally correcting me on giving this guy his accolades.
I'm just thinking about how much deeper it goes. That's all.
And, well, now I can't even remember what I was going to say. Fuck Sly and this Family Stone.
What are you talking about? What do you mean you don't remember?
I don't
remember what you were going to say?
No, I don't. I was rolling. I was spinning. I was going to drop something.
I said there's a lot of news to talk about, and then you started telling.
Oh, well, okay, thank you. So what I was going to say was that, I've been thinking a lot about him. We watched the documentary. I think we actually still have another 20 minutes or so of it left. And it's just delightful. It's like savory. I'm not allowing, I'm troubled blinking through it. I just don't want to miss any of it. I do love it that much. I really love this documentary.
Questlove's a really great documentary
He's
filmmaker.
telling it beautifully. It's raw and beautiful. It's kind of more what I wanted from the Pee Wee Herman documentary, to be honest.
Right.
I wanted, and I think Pee Wee wanted this, and I think this is Pee Wee. I think Paul Rubens and Pee Wee.
Yeah, they both.
I think they both wanted the opportunity to be real, to be totally real, and that's what's going on in this documentary, and I really love it. And it's not like sugarcoating it in terms of the struggles of Sly's life. But where I'm going with this is that on the very next, when you get your up next, so when we finish this one, Hulu wants us to watch Summer of Soul. And what's so cool about Summer of Soul is, first of all, just if you don't know, it took place during the time of Woodstock in, I believe it was Queens. And it was all we're talking a 16-year-old Stevie Wonder. It was like this, who's who of soul and Motown and everything else, man. And they all played this, one of the big parks in Queens, filled with people. They call it Black Woodstock is what they, it's it used to be called Black Woodstock, or rumored as that. I knew nothing of this at all until I went back to Hollywood in 2010 and we hooked up with John Legend. And so we put this show together for Showtime with John Legend that we had this really cool show idea that we were going to do with John Legend. It was dope as fuck. He was going to travel around the country and drop into bars and shit. And he was going to discover people and then take them to Capitol Records to jam with him and another legend. That was the show we had lined up.
That's a great
and
idea.
they fucking blew it. It gets me angry because it was such a good idea.
Because they just changed everything.
They changed it, but they just
Who's
blew
they?
it.
Is the studio?
Showtime.
Oh,
Showtime.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was Showtime.
Yeah, that's who would do it.
So it was it was going to be like Anthony
They're
Bourdain styles.
Okay, that's a great idea. But what if
Yeah.
We had a worse idea.
It was going to be Anthony Bourdain styles with but John Legend, but out in the wild, talking to people in the music scene and what it's like to be in the local music scene and putting bands up and all this other stuff, and then finding the gems and then bringing them back to Capitol Records to jam live. By the way, it was going to be a live weekly show, and then the lead up to the live portion of the show is showing all the pre-recorded stuff where we get John. I'm digressing into this, but we actually set that show up at Showtime, and we started putting it together. I got pushed out of it real quick, which sucked because I was the guy with that idea, I sweetened that idea with the whole let's travel, all this other stuff, whatever, fucking bullshit. Anyway, we had this there's a little bit of buzz around the show around agents and so on and so forth, and of course we have John Legend, so John Legend's in and of himself sort of like a pillar in sort of the black community of certainly music, but just in Hollywood general, entertainment generally speaking. We went to his house and it was like Stevie Wonder and fucking just giant, humongous people. Bill Withers. Yeah. I met Bill Withers. So these people call us up and they go, we want to show you some shit. And they bring in this guy he had all this footage of this so-called Black Woodstock. That's what it was presented to us as in 2011. And it was just we just sat there and watched hours and hours of this vintage shit that nobody had really seen. A few clips made it out, but this guy recorded the whole fucking festival, the whole damn thing. And nobody knew about it, just the clips that got out when, after he did it, like newsreel stuff, you know what I'm saying? And the rest of it had been sitting in some storage area of his home or garage for 50 fucking years, and he passed away. And his kid was, oh, look, one of Dad's old reels. And they put it up, and this is the footage. And it came to us. We had the opportunity to snag it. It came to us first. We had John Legend. It was ready to go. They wanted to hook it to us. And John passed. To my utter and complete shock, John Legend passed on it. And
Did you say why?
I don't remember what it was, but it got nominated for an Oscar.
But that's the documentary that's on Hulu called Summer of Soul.
Summer of Soul. Yeah. That's the one that's the footage. I don't know who directed it because we were going to produce.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We were going to attach a director. Obviously, somebody black and tied to music was going to direct this thing, right? And we were going to produce. And it was I was out of my mind excited. Go look at the roster. I mean, it was gonna be like a little dream project for me.
Yeah, the documentary turned out really great too. You said it was nominated?
Yeah, it got nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
If you guys like that kind of thing, another really great one is Zaire 74. Is one of the best music festival documentaries ever made, because it's a bunch of these American soul and R&B and funk acts went to Africa with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
When I think it was the Rumble in the Jungle? No. What was it?
Rumble in the Jungle is Foreman.
Okay.
1978 or something.
That event had its own name.
There's the Thriller in Manila.
Maybe that's it. No.
Because
it was Zaire.
That's what's his name from Philly?
Anyway, whatever.
The best boxer
when
ever.
we edit this,
second best boxer.
I'm gonna get that right,
and
I'm gonna say the right thing. But anyway, it's got young Tina Turner and Bill Withers. Oh, Bill Withers set.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because that's when he's like, hey, no, some of his best recorded singing.
Yeah, he's just belting. He's hollering. Because
he's in Africa. It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's really amazing to see these American.
That was Rumble in the Jungle.
These American black music acts playing for an African audience and how they turn it the fuck up for them.
It's not even that they turn it. It's not even that they turn it up. It's that they become possessed by the spirit of of.
They love it.
They love it. No, it's amazing. It really is. It's transcendent.
Yeah.
It's absolutely transcendent.
So that's a really good one.
So that was the opportunity but the interesting sort of reason why I kind of tell that story is because, the stories of how they get away from you, like that one just wiggled away. And two things, right there, like not only did the documentary wiggle away from us and it was an Oscar nominated, and I'm saying it at the time, I'm like, you guys, I mean, this can go as big as we want it to go. Like this goes to where we want to take it, where we're capable of taking it.
Yeah, evidently
that's where this goes.
The Oscars.
I would have thought that if I were able to do my thing, it would go all the way. Like that would have been my goal for sure. I had Stevie Wonder. I'm going all the way. 17 years old, 16 years old. Stevie Wonder. Fucking bopping his shit and singing like a prince. It was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, but it got away. The John Legend show got away because Showtime just burned it to the ground. Oh my God. You know, we're trying to, they made us take it off the road. No road element. And I was like, well, that's the whole show. There it is. You just fucking kiboshed it. And then they brought on the guy who produced One Tree Hill and you want to talk some of the worst decisions ever? John Legend went to University of Pennsylvania in Philly. And his partner, with whom I was also partnered at the time, a guy called Mike Jackson, he also was from Philadelphia. RD was from Philadelphia. I had adopted Philadelphia as my American hometown as a sports fan, and I even ended up buying a house just outside of Philly and lived there for several years. So I was, you know, in my own way from Philly. So this guy from One Tree Hill who produced One Tree Hill and Smallville was from Philly. He produced Smallville. He produced One Tree Hill. We have a John Legend road show that's like Anthony Bourdain styles, you know, in the music scene, and then bringing the stars to Hollywood to play live at one of the most legendary fucking recording studios in Hollywood.
Yes.
And they bring the guy who did Smallville because he's from Philly. That's not producing. That's stupidity.
Yeah.
So, but fucking Showtime's like, well, yeah, he's a successful showrunner, so we'll throw money at that guy. So they did, and he completely fucking ruined the show. Are you trying to take a breath? You want me to take a breath? The ones that get away, bro, they hurt. They always hurt. Because it's like, man, I could have been a part of making a beautiful documentary. And I'm glad the documentary exists. My fear was that it might not.
Yeah. Right.
Not because we passed, but just because whoever might mishandle this.
I know.
So I'm so glad it's there, and I'm so glad it was there at the caliber that it is. Yeah. It's a hard thing to fuck up, to be honest.
Well, it always, I always worry about these stories about these people that hold it in storage. There was that one. There was a huge fire at Universal.
You're not kidding.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, no. Most of the greatest masters ever gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when people have this like physical media on reels and stuff stored in in garages and stuff, it makes me really, really anxious. There's so much of that treasure in Los Angeles, and I wonder when all these celebrity homes, like Billy Crystal's home, burned down recently, right, in the Palisades fire.
Yeah.
And he, you think about how many like Hollywood relics he just had as like his own personal collection.
Stuff that was obviously museum bound after he died.
It's just irreplaceable stuff. Yeah. And there's so many other people who are just like little artists, like the person who found that collection of that concert in New York in his grandpa's just storage, forgotten about for decades, you know?
Yep.
Like there's so much of that stuff that kind of makes me a little pained if I think about it too much out there. My mom she used to have a reel-to-reel tapes of, she may still have it.
It's like in the vein of the greatest film was never made, the Taylor Swift lyric. It's kind of in the vein of
but let me
that.
finish.
Sorry.
So she has reel-to-reel tapes of early concerts of the Doors.
Oh, yeah.
And like maybe
like
Jimi
bootlegs.
Hendrix, because there was a time where Jimi Hendrix was opening for the Doors.
Dude, Sly opened for Jimi Hendrix.
And so, but her reel-to-reel player broke, and so all that stuff is just in storage, and who knows what the condition of it is. Like, all of this stuff is just like wasting away unless somebody shows up and decides to archive it or turn it into a product like that documentary so everybody can enjoy it.
Stefan's saying the first ever recorded football match was found in someone's attic.
What? See what I mean?
Is that stuff from like 1909 or whatever? Because I just looked at some footage from 1909.
I can't think about it for too long. It makes me stressed out. It's like, have you ever seen that picture of that I think it's like in Tibet or something. There's this huge library, and it's just filled like all the way, like it looks like it's 5 stories tall or something, and it's just like stacks and stacks of shelves of scrolls, boxes full of scrolls.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what's in them because they can't.
I know, it's so cool.
So hard to get through. You have to have like a whole team spending lifetimes translating and like digitizing and all of this stuff. And who knows what wisdom is locked up in there?
No, it's kind of like
it could be a whole new religion they could rediscover, you know?
It's like
secrets.
It's like Hellenistic astrology. The only reason I'm into astrology at all is because about 30 years ago, they began the Project Hindsight, which was the translation of all this ancient text on astrology that revealed all these amazing advanced techniques.
These amazing predictive techniques that they used in ancient times that had been completely lost until the mid 90s, when these like 3 scholars decided that they were going to figure out a way to translate it. And now we can use these like amazing old techniques.
And they're amazing. Like they're not to be fucked with amazing. Like it's just transformed astrology. And now people are still, of course, so many people are still exposed to sun astrology and the sort of dark side of
modern astrology that developed in the
the dark side of modern astrology, because there is good modern astrology out there. Liz Green is a good example of that. But you know, there's the modern astrology out there that's like the woo woo, put a quarter in and I'll give you a story about yourself kind of situation. Sun astrology, generally speaking, because sun astrology is a very ineffective astrology in terms of like actually going with the person and be like, okay, tell me what I am. I'm a Leo. Go ahead, tell me, you know, and they have no idea that they're actually a night chart, that their moon is playing a big deal in Sagittarius, and that they might be a Virgo rising or something else, you know, that was a character, huh? Anyway, I love all that shit, because when you find these fucking old, especially when it comes to like, you know, revealing shit that like, you know, missing, you know, gaps in knowledge.
Yes.
Like when there's a gap in knowledge and it's just like, oh, found it. You're like, oh,
like, that like
fuck.
Tibetan scroll storage has like, I'm sure it's got the secrets of the universe.
Oh my God.
Like
come
they
on.
figured it all out.
Oh, that's how you astral travel. Thank you. I'll be going to Paris now.
It's probably all written down, man. Diagrammed and everything. And it's just sitting up there collecting dust.
Yeah.
Leo Edit says the Connect 4 movie starring Leo, Lost Media.
I need to find it. I know that RD
It's like
has
the Dead
it.
Sea Scrolls.
I know RD has it. I have to like. I think
Just
I have to send RD a note that says something to the effect of, "You owe the world Connect 4."
I know.
You owe the world. By the way, the reason why Connect 4 is actually important to me and why I want the world to see it is because I want the world to see that Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire knew full fucking well the difference between a bunch of friends going together and shooting something and fucking Don's Plum.
Yeah.
And Connect 4 proves that. Mm-hmm. And that's why it was important to the litigation and why it's still important to the story of Don's Plum.
Leo,
but I also want you guys to watch it because he looks ridiculous. If you've ever, I got to, you know, while you talk about it, I'll pull up a picture of what Leo basically looks like in the Connect 4, except he's obviously 18 years old or 19 years old. And he is also, you know, not Patrick Swayze, but I'll show you.
He's not, that's true. He's not Patrick Swayze. We all aren't Patrick Swayze. Leo Edit said, I let my friend borrow the book so she can read it.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
That's
Thank
the
you.
Best, right?
All I can do. We got a new review today on Amazon, and it is such a great review. I am so fucking both flattered and
Leo Edit
excited.
said, please let me find the Connect 4 movie before my time has come.
Everyone needs to see it. The world needs this. Honestly, it should get a wide release. It should be like, you know, in the old days, they used to have reels before they would put on the features.
Yeah.
They used to do it at the silent.
You guys should do this before you play Don's Plum.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Dr. Susan is asking, did you see this question? Have you priced out what it would take to get all those depositions?
I haven't, but it's got to be 5 figures. It ain't good. Hey guys, look at this. Okay, here it is. Oh shit! Who wants? Oh man! All right, I'll get this.
What?
I'm getting this. I gotta show Titanic edits. All right, Leo edits. Here you go. That's what Leo looks like. Here, guys. This is Leo. What he looks like in the Connect 4 movie. You'll see it in a minute, Angela.
You better turn your phone the other way when you pan back around. Don't show them our room.
I'll dip out. Don't worry. I know how to do whip. You know.
A whip pan.
A whip pan. Don't worry about it. That's what he looked like.
But that's Patrick Swayze.
I know it's not Leo, but like picture Leo at like you know, just a little older than when he was when he was Arnie. And there you go. How'd you like that for a reveal? By the way, have you guys ever seen The Outsiders? Have you seen The Outsiders?
No.
Oh my God, that makes me mad.
I know. I get that reaction too when people haven't seen a movie that they definitely should have fucking seen.
That fucking makes me mad.
I know. I'm so sorry.
God damn. You gotta see Outsiders. If you haven't seen Outsiders, it's urgent. Leo edits. I love The Outsiders. You gotta see it. It's one of the best movies ever made. It really needs to be in the conversation of one of the greatest films ever made. And that might sound ridiculous to some, but it's brilliant, brilliant. Now, I haven't seen it since 1980, whatever, so maybe I'm wrong about that. And there's another one with Tom Cruise. It was like they're in a school, a military school. Who can name that movie? Tom Cruise is like his first role.
Delicate's got it right. She said The Outsiders is a boys' movie.
Yeah.
We watched Dirty Dancing, us 80s girls.
Yes. Well, fair, and Grease. Yeah, fair enough.
80s kids, us girls.
And Grease. God, you guys watch so much of that Grease stuff.
It was Dirty Dancing, like on a loop.
Well, now that you guys are grown up and you're not, girls anymore, now you can handle big boy movies.
Or we watch all the boy coming of age movies, and we're like, oh, you guys are so tormented.
You poor boys.
Did you ever have to get the dance just right, though? Bet you didn't.
Well,
bet you never had to get the dance just right.
I respect Grease and I respect Dirty Dancing. In fact, I like both those movies very much. And I also happen to think that The Outsiders is one of the greatest movies. While those other ones are very, very good.
Dr. Susan said Taps.
Taps. I love you, Dr. Susan. Taps.
Taps.
Taps, but wasn't his first movie Endless Love? It might have been. Might have been Endless Love. He probably had a couple of... He probably had like... It was probably Endless Love. But Taps was like, I think, his first like... Wow, who's that guy? Kind of role, you know?
How does it go?
Well, who's that guy? Hey, he's got moxie.
Who is that guy?
Who's that guy?
Oh, no, I'm not asking you. The dog was like, who?
Yeah, the dog.
Who are we talking about?
Now when you do that with their dogs in their ears, like, what? Where? You know what's awesome about dogs is how their ears can independently just like how? I want that ability.
Predators.
Oh, yeah, right. So
Did
they're
you
like,
know
they got like surround sound like a motherfucker.
one of the cleverest things that they do in creature design is a creature is way scarier when their eyes are facing forward. Right?
Oh, really?
Because predators have eyes in the front.
Oh.
It's the prey animals that have the eyes on the side.
Right.
That's why you've never seen like a monster that's got like side eyes. Because if they're attacking you, they got to look at you like that.
I feel like I should have eyes on my side. I really do feel like I should have eyes like this.
Like a prey animal?
Yeah. I would like
a
go in to get
herbivore?
like a plastic surgery and be like, hey, what can we do for you? You want to like nip and tuck? No. Actually, what I'm saying, could you move my eyes further apart so I can start seeing my predators? That'd be great. You like go into surgery and come out and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? And you're like, no worry, I see everything.
I can't remember the title of the book, but it's this really great, like, it's written by a anthropologist, whatever.
An ologist.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
An anthropologist who talks about how incredible it is of an experience when the predators of the forest, who obviously are wild animals and have never had encounters with human beings.
Yeah, well presumably.
When you go into one of these places and then you encounter one and they recognize you as another prey animal. I mean, a predator.
Predator.
Yeah.
And it's just like, their eyes, oh, shit.
Well,
this could get
I don't know how much they express it, but it's like this weird shared knowing.
It's kind of almost like looking in a mirror, but not quite.
I got to look up the title of this because it's something about like being recognized by the wild creatures or something like that. Whatever. I'm never going to find it. I have like my to be read list is like
ear periscopes.
1,000 long.
That's perfectly said. Oh, Dr. Susan says, oh my God, I never thought of that. Eyes in the front. Damn. My exes all had eyes in the front.
It's a big red flag.
Well, there you go. At least they're exes, At least you got that far. Thank God they're exes. That's all you can say about that.
Oh, Leo Edits has the best. Okay, so you guys had Outsiders. We had Heathers.
Oh, fuck Heathers. I love Heathers.
Heathers
Are you
is
kidding
the
me? Forget about it. That's like, so Christian Slater has came out many, many years ago, 25 years ago, saying that every role he's ever played, he's just basically tried to be as like Jack Nicholson, more or less. Never is it more
worked.
apparent in Heathers. I think in Heathers, it's like a straight up, like, I'm going to do Jack Nicholson through this whole movie. But he's great in it. I love it. To be sure. Oh, man, I hate Reddit. I hate Reddit right now.
Why?
Because it's just messing with me, and it doesn't, like, it's not doing what I want it to do. And I had it a certain way, and now it's not that way, and it makes my time more difficult.
I can't find it.
By the way, a public service announcement. I read this today, and it was it freaked me out. It's a today I learned, and it says that 85 of 85 known drugs that interact with grapefruit, 43 can have serious side effects, including sudden death, acute kidney failure, respiratory failure, gastrointestinal bleeding, and bone marrow suppression.
Because of grapefruit?
Grapefruit.
So if you're
grapefruit interacts with 85 known drugs, and 43 of them can be very serious interactions. And then the comments were filled with people who were like, "Oh yeah, dude, when I got my chemo, it was like, do not eat grapefruit."
What?
For real?
How weird.
You know what that tells me about grapefruit?
What?
Don't fucking eat it at all.
Don't eat it at all.
Don't eat it at all. And you know what the worst part about what they're saying? Known. They say known. So you're gonna eat grapefruit and fuck. Well, there's 86.
Yeah, we just
found 86, and there's Dale fucking in cardiac arrest. Exactly. Delicate. That tells me don't eat grapefruit. That's what I'm saying. Don't even eat it, bro. Walk past it. Oh, I remember them pink grapefruits. I put some sugar on it. It was good. Fucking killers. That's what they are. They don't want to be eaten. They don't want to be. They're like, okay, no problem. What's this? Oh, I'm going to grab that and kill you with it. Fuck that.
When we edit this, I'm going to get that right.
Get which part right?
I'm going to be able to make a reference that I can actually share. Sorry. You can only eat grapefruit until age 40, maybe. Dr. Susan's funny tonight.
Yeah, she's killing it. Susan's ripping it up on TikTok, guys. You guys might want to abandon the chat here because Susan's ripping it. Dr. Susan there.
All my exes had eyes in the front. Oh, man.
That's very funny. It's very, very funny.
Delicate says, oh, yeah, Heathers. I didn't watch that one on a loop.
Everyone did. Shannon Doherty, right? She's in that one? Is she in that?
Shannon Doherty's in it. Yeah, she was the nice Heather.
I forgot about Heathers, and the truth is I didn't see Heathers until later. So I hadn't seen it when I saw her at Jace Ferguson's house that day. Mm-hmm.
But she had been in it already. Yeah.
Yeah. Heathers was one of her first things. You know what's funny about that? Like writing that moment in the book? It is so weird how that moment it had such a huge impact on my memory. Like that, like just the feeling of it, the moment as it happened, it never left me in like HD. Like I went through a lot in Hollywood, like much more than is in the book, obviously. But that moment, seeing her, the way she was up against the wall like she was, and it was just this whole fucking picture. I have this whole thing that I'm working on for the educational side of what I want to do here on YouTube. And which is oh god, I lost track of my thoughts.
Delicate said, "Oh dang, I have a grapefruit on my fridge and I'm 46. Am I going to die?"
Yeah, well, you might. You should wear gloves. Put on some gloves. Surgical gloves.
Stefan said this grapefruit bit is the closest we've got to some Dale stand-up, and I love it.
I think okay. Well, yeah. Maybe I'll put a couple out there.
You still got it, kid.
Oh, listen, man. When we get rolling, wait till we get a couple comedians on here. I jam with comedians. I used to write for comedians, man.
Yeah, but
you know
it's
what the coolest thing about comedians? You know what the coolest thing about being a comedian was for me is that we would get together and we would write each other jokes, and we would do it on the spot. We would like do a show, and then we would hang out and we would write. Isn't that fucking cool?
Yeah, way cool.
Yeah.
You guys jam? You guys just jam it out.
Here's a story about my stand-up comedy. I did my very first show I did. I was 18 years old. I did it at Yuck Yucks in Winnipeg. I did a 5-minute opening bit, and there was like, and I killed it. By the way, I absolutely fucking killed it. So much so that
you're gonna get banned from TikTok.
So much so that they put me in the papers.
They put you in the papers.
They did, yep. Because this comic that was headlining that night was this Canadian who was like a big deal and who had just gotten a TV show. And so he got to Winnipeg, and so the Free Press, that's the name of the paper there, Winnipeg Free Press, they showed up because they were doing hey, his name was like Mike Gottlieb or something. He was like, is in town, back from, blah, 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 and he's a big deal because now he got a TV show. So it was just luck that the press was there, and they wrote me up, and I killed it. I can't remember where I was going with this either.
You were saying about how you'd like to have comedians on the show. So that you guys can
I can't wait. I do. I want to get a couple comedians. I want to find some comedian friends, bro.
Delicate said you should have the guy from Gavel Gavel. I think he's a comedian.
Gavel,
I thought about that show. They're covering the now dismissed Baldoni lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
But they're covering that.
We're gonna cover that today too. Actually,
it's a little devastating for content creators on both sides because now they don't have.
I love it.
They don't have him to make fun of anymore.
Bro, I love it, man. You go ahead, put your coat on that hook. Listen, here's the thing about it that I think I love the most is how they're all groveling in shit right now. They all look ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to happen, and it's not going to get better for them. This doesn't improve over time. Like they're all sitting around sharpening their knives over the so-called 4 other counts that Lyman has agreed to hear amendments on. They don't understand that means that he's considering dismissing those counts.
Oh yeah. No, he was like, I need to see, he basically was like, those other counts are going to get dismissed, but I want to see the contracts first.
Right.
So he's asking them to produce the contracts that he's saying is central to their complaint.
They're getting another blow. They're going to get
those are going to get tossed out too.
If they're not all gone, they're going to still lose some. They have 4 left. They're going to lose 1, 2, 3, or 4 of those. And that's going to be more bad news for them and a more narrowed scope from which they get to operate.
So a little astrology update.
Yeah.
Blake Lively's so the day that Justin Baldoni's case got dismissed.
Yeah.
Jupiter had just that day entered her 12th house.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting.
I know, isn't it?
And 12th house of what? What's her
12th house Cancer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So that's going to be this whole next year for her is just going to be more of this. Jupiter just like ushered in.
She's going to be doing some winning.
I think what they say about Jupiter.
What's going on in Libra?
12th house is a difficult house, but I think what they say about Jupiter, which is a really lucky planet going in there, I think they say that you'll end up being feeling really restored, like psychically, spiritually, like emotionally.
I'll say astrologically,
it's real like gifts come through from this restoration and rest process.
Here's what happens with Jupiter. For the next year, it travels through her 12th house. Through her 12th house, this next year is going to be the most difficult for her. She's going to be going through depositions. She's going to be discovering things that she doesn't know yet that she's probably going to find disturbing, troubling, whatever. Other people are going to be around her are going to be affected negatively through this process. Whether it's her kids, her husband, her friends, whatever. But this is something that's going to be happening over the next 12 months. But then what happens is, she's going to come to a verdict. And that's going to be real close to around the time that Jupiter is ingressing into her first house. Like, this chick has good things brewing, even though, and Jupiter being in that 12th house is, to me, it's
really
like
protective.
It's like, look, there's work to be done here. We're going to be scrubbing out your old enemies. We're going to be protecting you from them. It's protection from hidden enemies, from hidden enemies in particular. So the whole astrological side of it is absolutely fucking
another thing
fascinating.
is that Venus, which is another one of the beneficial planets, right? The second one, Venus has just entered its own favorite place to be, which is her 10th house in Taurus, and so she's going to have. Her public image is like going to become more charming, more beautiful, more things are going to come through for her because of her public image.
Right.
I think that it's just really, really wonderful, very fortunate. And just the day that it got that this case was dismissed, the moon had just moved into her 5th house, so I'm sure that means that she partied.
Yes.
Because that is that's the sign of Sagittarius, so it's also supported by that Jupiter that is exalted in Cancer.
Oh my God, I remember now.
Anyway,
I'm going to tell
very,
you.
very beneficial for her.
So
Anyway.
I did that stand-up comedy in Winnipeg. I'm going back. I did that stand-up comedy in Winnipeg, and there was a bunch of comics doing their first show. Among them was this little person whose name was Tara. And she was probably like, I don't know, maybe 3'8", 4'1", like she was tiny woman. I mean, no, she wasn't even that tall. I mean, she was a dwarf. And love her. I mean, to this day. So we did a bunch of shows together. We wrote together. We wrote jokes for each other. We had a good time. Like first 5-6 shows, whatever, few months, and then we kind of just drifted in our own directions as comics go and do and whatever. I end up leaving comedy. I end up like going in a totally different direction in my life. And my brother, he ends up like find this woman. They get married, and I get obviously invited to the wedding. I go to the wedding. She's in the wedding party. I never saw her before or since. She's in the wedding party, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, that's extraordinary. This person that we got our first. So she's this dwarf. We fucking killed it at this wedding. We were dancing. I was like throwing her between my legs. Having so much fun. Because she's like totally, she embraces her
what else is she
her physical body comedically, Super fun. Anyway, okay, there we go. Back to the show.
Cosmic Urgency says I'm Capricorn with rising Virgo or whatever. What's happening with me?
Well, your Virgo's rising. We know that.
Cosmic Urgency, if you are Virgo rising, that means you, me, and Justin Baldoni
are all Virgo risings.
Have the next year, Jupiter is in your 11th house, which is a fucking wonderful place for Jupiter to be.
Yeah, you're in good shape, actually.
It is the place that the ancient astrologers called it the place of allies and benefactors.
Correct.
And it's basically where you can connect with helpful people, make friends, make associations, and build your fame and your and that kind of.
I want to live
like your
forever.
Social currency in your broader social groups. It's a really, really wonderful place for Jupiter to be because Jupiter is all about expansion and abundance and good fortune. And so you should just keep your eyes peeled for opportunities where you can make social connections that benefit you or that you can benefit others in a way that comes back and it's mutually beneficial for the whole next year. You, me, and Justin Baldoni.
Very positive. That doesn't mean there isn't.
There
doesn't mean there isn't a shadow side. There is a shadow side. You have to be aware of like things like trying to like maybe get the message out too quickly,
being
or
overly optimistic.
Being over optimistic.
The sign of Cancer too is,
or even actually more even like overly confident.
The sign of Cancer too is really harmonizing, and so you may feel like there's a synergy with people. Where like after the year's over, you're like, what was I thinking? That was like I was high on something,
High.
It's like you get your super group band together, and then after that year's over, you guys break up.
I fucked this up. We were talking about Blake Lively and Baldonia. So
I'm just very happy for her.
Blake Lively's
attorney. I just
attorney,
wanted to make a prediction about how this year's going to go for her, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, no, she's going to have a good year. This guy's going to get fucking trampled on. He
also has his Jupiter in it. He's going to make a lot more connections.
Who, Baldoni?
Yes.
Well, he's just going down this totally different road.
Yeah.
He's
going to be like on the grifter path, which is fine.
Listen, he's one of those guys. He's one of those golden boys, I think. Like Leo. Leo's a golden boy.
Too.
Leo's like a golden boy. Leo couldn't fuck up, even when he fucked up. Like, look, Leo has had a terrible year. And he's got a big giant film coming out, and nobody's talking about his dark side right now, Yeah. And he was close friends with P. Diddy, and I know that he was close friends with
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. It's not like he wasn't like, I saw that guy once in a while. They were buds.
This is how high paid publicity works. You know that they're on the phone. Like 24, they're on call on 24/7.
For sure, they sleep
to make sure that they squash every bad story
with their phones no more than 2 feet from their ear, cranked on high.
Yeah.
Erica's here. What's up, Erica? Good to see you. Oh yeah, I mean, so
Dr. Susan said I have decades where I wonder what was I thinking.
Well, that's how it gets. It's so crazy. No, I do. I have that. I think I have. I really have from age 28 to age. Well, I guess that's close to 40. What the fuck was I doing? What was I thinking?
Jeremy Sisto, Leo Edit said Jeremy Sisto said recently that he tried stand-up comedy for the first time.
I can't imagine it.
Because he's a little stiff, right?
I can't imagine. He's also like, I mean, he's obviously changed. He doesn't know me any more than I know him.
He's like, take my wife, please.
Well, he'd come out like, so, well, I hope he killed, actually. He's a super fucking talented guy.
No, I don't want to make fun of him. He seems like a really nice guy, but he doesn't seem like, maybe if he was like, there's definitely been comedians who like have like a, like deliberately monotone delivery, you know?
He was really funny. He was not the funniest guy I hung out with in Hollywood by a long stretch. Like, I actually kind of put people in hierarchy, as far as funny goes. And because it's like a big thing for me. Thanks, Dr. Susan. But so what?
It's a cute sound.
So I won't let you chat on your Switch. What the F, man? I don't know what Nintendo's doing, bro. What was I saying? Tanner's here. Hi, Tanner. What's going on?
You were talking about Jeremy Sisto trying comedy. Good for him. I don't know why I jumped to making fun of him. I'm
just saying, like, so we had a hierarchy, and like as a former comedian, I was like, I would rank people as far as funny.
The funny meter.
And his was all the way down.
He never made you laugh.
Not really. He could help keep a laugh going. He could be the butt of the laugh.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really like dropping the punches. Like that was tops funny guy in our whole group, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I think I understand that. I think that's been my currency in social groups of funny people, is that like I'm always a really easy laugher. So it's really helpful to have somebody around that's like laughs really easily.
The funniest guys in my group were Leo was first, I think. The second funniest guy, and I'm going to include myself in these rankings through my own judgment, of course. The second funniest guy in our whole group was Blake Sennett. He was so funny. Both of them made me feel comedically inferior. So much so that I kind of retreated a little bit.
So who did you have in your friend group that was like me, who's like never really funny, but
you're fucking hilarious. You're hilarious.
You're not fishing either. So
no, I know you're not, but you don't sit there. I know you're not, but you don't sit there and like line jokes up. You're not sitting there like, hey, oh no, you're not fucking Rodney Dangerfield over there. But you are somebody who just says.
Sometimes I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. Well,
you're a cerebral. You're a cerebral comedy. Comic, or you're not a comic, obviously, but your comedy is very cerebral in nature. It's very very smart, it's very sophisticated, very curt, and sometimes it's not even meant to be funny. But it's just that you'll put a sentence together that absolutely fucking kills, and so I completely disagree with you on that.
Well, thank you. That makes me quite anxious. But my point was
that was the plan.
Who was in your friend group that is a lot like more like me, like not making the jokes, but supporting the jokes, and a big fan of everybody making the
Jeremy
jokes.
Sisto.
Jeremy Sisto was
Jeremy
like that?
Sisto. Jeremy Sisto helped comedians, because you know what the thing about Jeremy is that he laughs at everything.
Yes.
He is the best guy in the room, because you can make a
with
seriously mediocre joke, and he'd be like, and you'd be like, all right, well, we got one in the crowd. We get somebody warm. Let's go.
That's great. I think it's valuable. It's also really fun to be that person, because there's no pressure. I just get to be an audience.
Yeah, that was Jeremy's role. Artie Robb was number 3 for the funniest guys of all the people that I knew in Hollywood. Number 3, Artie Robb. That guy is just
super funny.
He's just funny, man. He's just funny. Like when I wrote that he dropped his pants to his ankles and just waddled away, he did that. Like, that's real, and it was so funny.
It's just random funny.
He would come out like joke. You know what I mean by pitching a tent?
Yes.
He would come out pitching a tent. Like, he would, because he knew it's funny.
That's why he would do it.
He would do it. Like, he would just walk out of his bedroom with a straight up Pinocchio. And I'm laying there going, what are you doing, RD? And he's like, yeah, good morning, bro. And just like rubbing his head, pitching a tent. And it's just all for funny. And it worked. Like, I mean, it's gut splitting stuff. So he was number 3. I'm going to keep this conversation going. We'll talk in between. I'll give you number 4 when it comes to my mind. Those are the top 3 right now. Leonardo DiCaprio, funniest guy in Hollywood that I knew.
Was Kevin funny?
And I knew a lot of funny people in Hollywood. Huh?
Was Kevin funny?
Yeah, Kevin. I haven't ranked him yet. Kevin was a very funny guy.
Was Scott funny?
No.
Never.
Not never. Scott has humor.
He was funny sometimes?
Yeah, but he was like, yes. Yes, he was very funny at times. We had huge laughs, and he cracked some great jokes, and he's a very funny person, but he's not a funny guy.
It was like that dry humor.
He's also just not ready to necessarily be funny in any given moment.
There's also like a kind of comedy where it's like really cynical, like jokes, you know, where they just, it's like kind of
like Leo
kind of
tries to be funny all the time when we're hanging out, right? Or tried, right? Blake always tried to be funny. Do you
Are
know what
they
I mean?
both doing physical comedy?
No, it'd be physical. It could be just like they'd come up with bits. It could be anything. Could be anything.
That's really cute.
Yeah. It was a good time.
I love it when friends are just trying to come up with ways to entertain each
I look
other.
at Angela and I just talked to a relative today, and he notoriously just slides off and goes like, and I do him, and I remember, I'm like, oh, there I am doing it, because he just all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, no, you're gonna want to move over so we can actually see you. There
I know you end up like looking at your phone screen like this.
Yeah,
like
yeah, you're like following them. You're like,
you can
boing.
try and see them around the corner.
Yeah.
Tanner just got done watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. That's so awesome. Are you homesick from school?
Oh my God, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy is just such the two shot right there. It's like listen, I used to watch both of those all the time. Well, I wasn't a big Jeopardy guy. You know why? I just wasn't smart enough. Like I just couldn't answer the questions, man. So I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, man, this thing just makes me feel stupider than shit. I'm gonna go watch Wheel of Fortune. And I'm just screaming like everybody else at the fucking, no, remember, no, it's got to be an I. There's no way they would say that.
And then they said,
and then
you're so
fuck, they said it.
You know what? You deserve to be poor. You bought the wrong vowel, dumbass.
Yeah. When you're screaming at people when they spin the wheel and it's just obviously what it is. And there's only like, and they can't get it. They're like,
it's obviously.
Pat, I'm going to spin, Pat. I got to spin. You're just like, no, that's super califragilisticexpialidocious, mother. All right. We go too far. Taking it too far.
Delicate says, I think Scooter is suppressing the story about his subpoena. Did you see that Melissa Nathan is also his publicist? Yeah, he owns 50% of her company.
Yeah, he owns 50% of the company.
I guess that makes sense since he owns the company.
Yeah.
The company. Yeah.
It's true. We never got to that yet. So Scooter Braun. Hey, Scoots. I call him Scoots. You know that.
We go way back. I call him Scoots.
We go back a few minutes.
All
and
of us kids
so he goes,
did.
That's the Hollywood way, bro. You like know people in Hollywood for like 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, dude, my buddy Kevin Spacey, bro. Like, you know how like
Bobby De Niro?
How I knew like, yeah, Bobby. I think he goes by Robert. No, he doesn't. He goes by Bobby. I know this. It's like that moment I had with Kevin Spacey at Leo's party is like half the people in Hollywood who like would meet Kevin Spacey. The next day they'd be like, yeah, I was hanging out with Kevin Spacey, my bro, last night. Yeah. We're just broing out at Leo's party. You know Leo DiCaprio, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we're just broing out. Me and my boy Kevin Spacey. That dude, you don't know him, but he's cool, bro. A little gay, but he's cool. He's cool. You know what I mean? It's like that.
Like you guys go way back.
And there's also like people help like support that. They'll also be like, because they also just met Kevin Spacey the night before, and they'd be like, yo, bro, remember we were hanging out with our bro like Kevin Spacey last night? Oh yeah, Kevin Spacey, bro. Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, you was hanging with Space?
Yeah, Space, bro. I call him Space, bro, because he's kind of out there. He's not. He's kind of out there. It's not just about his name. We haven't talked yet about the. I don't even. I honestly, Tanner, you just brought up an emotional point. But I'll go there. We'll go there, and I'm not gonna
What is it?
I'm not gonna cry.
Oh,
Brian Wilson is dead.
He has left us.
He has transitioned.
He's gone to the great keyboard organ in the sky. I have some little tidbits to share about him and how unbelievably eccentric and wonderful he was.
Yeah, let's get to it because my brother-in-law, my former brother-in-law, that is. He came up with this great concept called Planet Music. He's like, when they die, they go to Planet Music. And I've never not...
Tell me about Planet Music.
It's a planet where all the great musicians go when they die. That's all it is.
It's like a big jam band in the sky?
It's a big jam band in the sky. It's a big jam. It's a big gig in the big gig in the sky, bro. And so he's gone to the big gig in the sky, bro. He's up at Planet Music, man. He's fucking, he's hanging out with everybody. He's like, Jimmy?
He found a little secluded corner so that he could just work on his stuff all by himself.
Yeah. He's like locked in a little cloud room.
Okay, so
I love Brian Wilson. I'm sad that he's gone. What a great human being to have been on the planet with at the same time. What luck we had. That's all I got to say about it. I love him. I'll miss him. That's it.
He is our beloved, very certainly neurodivergent musician. Because check this out. Did you hear about how he's obsessed with the song Shortening Bread?
Which song?
Shortening Bread?
Shortening Bread? Yes. What is that? That's a song.
Oh my God, I can't believe you don't know it.
I don't know Shortening Bread.
No, it's like one of these like old like folk Americana songs.
Do I have to look it up now?
Ugh, don't make me sing it.
Sing it. Sing it.
You're going to look it up.
Shortening Bread by Angela C.
You're going to look it up.
Come on, sing it for me, darling.
Just look it up, bro.
Come on.
You're wasting everybody's time. We have to see what this is.
What's it called? What's it called?
It's like shortening, but it's shortening. Shortening bread. It should autofill. I'm serious. It's a thing. Maybe it's because you're Canadian. You don't know what this is.
I went, well, I guess it's an NIN, and it says, yeah, that's right, shortening bread.
And I feel like for sure it's a public domain. I don't think there's anybody who's going to tag you for being for playing.
Well, it depends who's singing it. If the Andrews sisters are singing it, I'm just going to put it on YouTube, bro. Who's going to hit me up? Shit.
It's just for you to listen to. Okay, anyway.
Make a little coffee too. Baby's little baby loves shortening.
Oh yeah, of course I know this.
Baby's little baby loves shortening bread.
Everybody knows this.
Obsessed
Little
with
baby
this
loves
song.
shortening. Her little baby loves shortening bread.
All right.
He considered it like the greatest song.
It's brilliant.
There's a whole Wikipedia section on it. Do you want to hear this?
Yes,
This
yeah,
is so great.
yeah.
So everybody's saying like R.I.P. to the guy who's the biggest fan of Shortening Bread. Alex Chilton, the former lead singer of Big Star, recalled receiving middle-of-the-night phone calls from Brian Wilson asking him to sing on a recording of Shortening Bread. He was telling me I have the perfect voice for it. So he would call him in the middle of the night, be like, bro, I got the great idea. You got what do you want? Brian Wilson. The Monkees' Mickey Dolenz said that when he tripped on LSD with Brian Wilson, John Lennon, and Harry Nilsson,
nice.
Brian Wilson played Shortening Bread on piano over and over and over again.
That's gotta be fucking something to, oh my God, can you imagine?
Biographer Peter Ames Carlin wrote that Elton John and Iggy Pop were bemused by an extended, contumacious, Wilson-led sing-along of Shortening Bread, leading Iggy Pop to flee the room, proclaiming, I gotta get out of here, man. This guy's nuts.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Musician Alice Cooper recalled that Wilson considered Shortening Bread to be the greatest song ever written. According to Cooper, when he asked why, Brian Wilson responded, I don't know. It's just the best song ever written.
Well, exactly. What the fuck do you mean, why? What do you mean, why?
So he was just like the most eccentric and brilliant person ever. But here's another one that I found for you.
I'm listening.
I feel like
I love it, and yeah.
It's insane.
Tell me more.
It is legitimately insane to think of that song as like the song you're obsessed with. You think is the greatest song ever written.
I mean,
come on.
I don't know. I think that he's probably got a point. The harmonies.
No, he doesn't.
The harmonies in there are insane. They're literally insane. This song is insane.
Nursery rhyme.
This is 1938.
I know. It's like a nursery rhyme, though. Come on. Especially given like the amazing like musical brilliance of Brian Wilson, that he was almost.
3 little babies lying in bed, 2 was sick and uttermost dead.
Jack White could sing that right now and put some guitar to it, and it would be a fucking smash.
Okay, you're not with me on this tonight. That's fine. You feed those babies on a shortening bread.
I just love all that shit.
Okay, so here's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, Don Henley has a Brian Wilson story.
Don Henley. I call him Donnie, but yeah, go ahead.
Brian Wilson tells the story of how Don Henley once came backstage after a concert. The Eagles co-founder, Don Henley, arrived clutching his copy of Pet Sounds, the Beach Boys' classic 1966 album. And he told Wilson how much their music had inspired him when he was younger. Keen to have Wilson autograph the album, he watched as Wilson picked up a Sharpie and wrote, "To Don, thanks for all the great songs." Don Henley turned to leave, but Wilson called him back and, grabbing the record, crossed out "great" and replaced it with "good."
Oh.
To Don, thanks for all the good songs.
Amazing. Brilliant.
Like, what a fucking weirdo.
I love it.
This guy-
Wow, well, he wants to tell the truth, man. He's
No,
like,
I know. This is why I'm like, it's just like a screaming autism, you know? Like he wasn't
Yeah.
diagnosed and we don't know.
he was
But
on the
for a
spectrum.
person to be like, no, I need to be correct about that. My opinion is not, I'm not going to elaborate here. I'm going to be
but
absolutely-
this is great. But this is great, and it's not great.
It's not great. They're good songs.
It's good songs.
Thank you for all the good songs.
He knows the difference. Here's the thing that this guy's fucking immensely qualified to know this. And the other thing that goes into
It's true.
sort of the
He would know.
qualification of like, or quantifying the greatest song ever has to do with things like harmony, arrangement, just a melody, obviously.
Yeah, they're not as good as Shortening Bread, that's for sure.
I fucking love shortening bread. I didn't know what it was, but now I know what it is. I still don't know what shortening bread is. Is that shortbread? Because I know what that is.
Yeah, I think so.
I love shortbread. My
I
dad
think they're like
makes shortbread. He used to make 2,000-3,000 cookies a year. Shortbread.
shortbread cookies. Yeah,
I
That's probably what
I
it is.
stunk like them for like days. I would go to school and people were like, "Who the fuck smells like shortbread?" Me and my brother just sitting there smelling like old people. Okay. What do you got next?
Erica said my mom used to sing that song to me when I
I
was
know
a
that's
kid.
the greatest. I love that I love that I know that now.
That's all I have about Brian Wilson being an absolute weirdo, but it's iconic.
I mean, he's notorious. I guess it's notorious. I guess it shouldn't be. Anyway, R.I.P. My friendly beach boy. What a great mind to, what a great, again,
Did you like the-
I truly feel so privileged to have been alive at the same time as that man. I wish I had seen him live. I really would have enjoyed that. I don't know that there was ever a version of the Beach Boys that existed at the time that I was going to concerts that made sense for me to go see them, because they were kind of like, they were never quite what they were, It's kind of like going to see The Who right now. Like, why would you go see The Who right now? They're literally like,
I don't know,
they're like
maybe
coughing at
incredible,
each other.
dude. Maybe they're like kicking over the monitors and
I
everything.
bet I'm gonna guess that they're an absolute
Maybe they put
shell
together
of their former self.
one of those like rigs from the ceiling so that they can just fly like Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
No,
Eddie Van Halen
like David Lee Roth.
and Eddie Van Halen
He did that too.
for sure. I watched it live.
He would fly.
Panama, bro. But I saw them.
They
do
all
it.
did?
They were all no, just those two.
Leo Edis wants to know, was Toby funny?
Absolutely fucking not.
Really?
No.
He never tried to be?
Look, everybody is funny.
Did he laugh?
Hey,
Was he a laugher?
Yes, laughed. But everybody's funny. We're all funny. So to qualify what I mean by that is that pretty much everybody I know has a sense of humor of some kind, or just generally funny. Even some people, the people who just absolutely sure are not funny, just sit long enough and listen to what the fuck they say. They're funny. Most of the time it's just because we're not listening or our brains are working on our own goddamn jokes. So Tobey Maguire had, baseline funny. He had baseline, but the dude had no game. Like he's not holding.
I don't get why you guys fucking hung out with that guy.
This dude never hold down a. He
That
never
just sounds like such a fucking dick.
Why? I'm just talking about sense of humor. He never held down a table. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's like I've had moments where I could like take a room and send him through the laughs for a minute, like or my little section or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I qualify funny. Like Leonardo DiCaprio can make all of us laugh to the point where we're bloody vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? Like he's made me vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? Like where and not because his balls are whacking around, but because like
One of my favorite-
because he's just so funny that I don't even like the way I'm smiling anymore.
One of my favorite notes that you ever took from me
Yeah.
when you were writing your book and I was making little suggestions, I would try and like put in these little suggestions where I thought it'd be funny and you would take it or not. And I don't have any control over that. But one thing that you did that I was really proud of was when in the peroxide scene. If you guys have read the book, you know what I'm talking about. In the peroxide scene that Toby is trying to get RD to hand him the bottle of peroxide. But my suggestion,
No spoilers.
My suggestion was to have RD laughing so hard that he couldn't even extend his arm because
Well, it's true, dude.
being weak with laughter is such a wonderful thing to convey.
Yeah,
in
it was a
writing.
great note. One of many great notes. But he
So Toby got impatient and
it's also
snatched it from him.
it's also like a perfect note. It was like sort of like kismet in terms of your note and the reality of Artie Robb, because that's literally like as soon as you said that, I had the exact same picture loop through my head as I did when you mentioned it the first time. As soon as you said it, as soon as you say that, you know, that sort of state of laughter.
He's weak with laughter. He can't
There's
even
a
extend his
picture of
arm.
Artie. There's a picture of Artie Robb, which I did my best to put in the book, that I have etched in my memory because more than once he like literally like weak from laughter, can't hold up a cup. Yeah.
So great.
What's going on TikTok? I don't even know who's there anymore. I know we got Leo edits, and I know we got Dr. Susan, but there's like 8 people here, and I don't know who's there. So I hope you're enjoying your time with us tonight. And I'm sorry if I haven't said hi, but hi. We got our friends over at YouTube right now. I love you guys so much. What's going on? All right, continuing.
The next item I have for you is today was a very bad day for Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein got reconvicted.
Yes. And also...
Once wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, maybe also a bad day for Candace Owens because she was working to rehabilitate his image a little.
Well, it's interesting because it was a bad day for him because he did get reconvicted on a previous charge, which got a retrial granted.
It was overturned for this retrial. Yeah.
Right.
But so there were 3 charges.
Yeah.
He was convicted of 1, which puts him in prison. And he's already in prison serving a 16-year term or something, so it's not like he would have been free otherwise. But then he was acquitted of 1 charge, and there's another charge pending that the jury is still deliberating on. And I haven't experienced that before in any of the trials I've ever followed, which isn't a whole lot, but
Yeah.
I was really surprised that the jury isn't giving their final answer on everything all at once. I thought it was weird that they're doing these piecemeal. Like, this charge, yes, this charge, no, and we're still deciding on the 3rd one. So we don't know whether he's going to have 2 convictions or 1 conviction and 2 acquittals.
Yeah, it was that is weird. I would assume that everything would come out in one big but probably because they were expected to reach. Apparently, the deliberations are like vicious.
Yes, apparently the jury is having a really...
They're at each other's throats. So one person, I guess there's one of the jurors, maybe even the foreman, is staunch in
Fixed.
he's fixed in his verdicts, and he's not to be moved. He won't be moved. And so I guess, I don't know if he's acquittal across the board, because we know that well, no, he can't be, because there's a reconviction,
Right.
There's an acquittal, and right now they are undecided on a 3rd and a 4th, or just the 3rd.
The 3rd.
The 3rd, thank you. So there's one more charge that they're still waiting to decide on, one which is reconvicted, and that victim has already spoken out, and she is, of course, relieved that he is not going to be released.
Yeah, so here's what she says. Sorry, scrolling.
No, you're good. So it's exciting. It really is, that this fucker is going to stay in jail because, fuck him. And the horse he rode in on.
Outside the courthouse, Haley told reporters, "I just want to say that I'm so grateful to the jury. The defense set a very disruptive and chaotic tone from the very beginning of this trial, which I suppose is meant to distract the jury from undeniable facts. And I'm so grateful they saw through that nonsense and the antics." Haley continued, "Testifying in the face of constant disruptions, victim shaming, and deliberate attempts to distort the truth was exhausting and at times dehumanizing. But today's verdict gives me hope. Hope that there is new awareness around SV and that the myth of the perfect victim is fading."
I love that line. That was my favorite line. The myth of the perfect victim. And here's the problem, like, why that line is so important, because we had this question come up the other day, or not this question, but a comment came up the other day. Somebody was speaking about, well, actually I was talking to my neighbor, and we were talking about, he brought up Diddy. And he says to me, why 10 years though? Why does it take 10 years? This is why, because, they're always looking for the perfect victim. And so, to come out forward is to put yourself at risk of being completely discarded, and having to relive the shame and then have that shame kind of smashed in your face.
Yeah, Danny Masterson, I think, went to trial with 3 or 4 victims. I think it was 3, and then there was a 4th person.
I think he had 5 victims in the first trial, and then it got reduced to 3.
I thought
of
the
which he got
charges were
convicted
related
for 2.
I'm sorry, I thought the charges were related to 3, and that there was another one who was actually testifying as a victim, but wasn't being, he hadn't been charged.
Danny Masterson, who is in jail, by the way. Danny Masterson, net worth.
But my point for bringing that up is that one of the victims that was testified at trial, said later that she believes, because people have reached out to her and her attorneys
Yeah.
in support, that she believes that he has over 100 victims. And so it just, if you think about how many there could be, right? If she believes there's over 100 because she's spoken.
It was 3 in his first trial. I'm wrong.
So of the 100, only 3 had cases strong enough for the prosecutors to use their.
Well, they didn't. I don't even think they knew of. We're talking Masterson. I don't even think they knew of the 100 until
They knew
later.
of dozens.
They knew of at least a dozen.
Yeah.
I remember that there was at least a dozen. I don't remember.
And they
them
had to go with their
necessarily being
strongest
dozens.
cases.
But I remember there was at least 12 women who come forward, many of whom actually came forward in interviews and were public about their experience with Danny Masterson. But a good
Susan
example
said-
of that, though, is like it is Danny Masterson. You know what the interesting part of all this is that these convictions aren't even really helping. They're not even really helping victims come forward, because these convictions are so difficult to get. They're so painful to get. There's so much these victims have to go through. You hear it in their responses. These women are so fucking courageous. We hear it when we're sitting around and hearing people just talk around the cooler about these situations. I had my neighbor who was not in any way being a dick when he asked about why 10 years. This is what they're faced with. And they're faced with it even in the light of these convictions, even in the light of these very open assaults against their safety, and they still have to be afraid. They still have to be overly cautious because they too want to continue with their lives. They too want to have children and husbands, and they want to forget about this. One of the greatest pictures I've seen so far was the picture of Cassie with her new husband. Did you see this guy? He looks like a dork. He looks like a fucking dork, and she looks like she's in paradise. It's pretty wonderful. Not that Diddy was any kind of fucking prize, frankly. Anyway, I'm sorry to
Dr.
interrupt
Susan
you.
said they would never be victims if they were perfect. Society views these horrid assaults as entertainment now and not what they are.
I wish you could. Can you read that again more clearly, because it was a little mumbled? That is
Society views
perfect.
these horrid assaults as entertainment now and not what they are.
Well, the first part is my favorite part.
They would never be victims if they were perfect.
Yeah, it's like.
Well, I think a lot of
such a
predators-
perfect. That's a perfect sentence.
A lot of predators will specifically target people who may not seem very credible to exploit. I know that when I had an encounter with a cop that turned out to be a predator, and I believe that I was beginning to be groomed by him, but he discovered that I lived in another town, so he didn't have that proximity to me. Later on, I found out that he had other victims that he did keep contact with and continue to groom.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons why I was targeted was because I was picked up by him at night. He was a cop, right?
Yeah.
And me and my friends were doing drugs in a park. And we weren't causing any trouble.
You're a bad chick, man.
We weren't harming anybody. But that made me somebody who was less credible.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I was obviously, or they'll target
You're
these,
vulnerable.
at-risk youth or whatever,
You're immediately vulnerable.
Yeah, so they...
And he's also in an extreme authority position, not just like a regular authority position, like adults in general.
Right, like who's more credible? A guy who's had a long career in the police force, or some teenager who...
Getting caught doing drugs in parks. Right.
Right.
I mean, it's a slam dunk for him.
So I think that's just how a lot of these people operate.
In general. And it's also the class disparity, because... Like, I know, like, for example, I know I got fucked with in my last movie that I made because the person knew I couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
Like, I know that.
Or like Danny Masterson, he found a lot of his victims while he was DJing at clubs, right? And so those girls are drunk when he meets them.
Yeah.
And so that makes them less credible.
Was that Brock guy?
Brock Turner?
Yeah, is that the guy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like some Brock Turner shit.
Yeah.
Get them all wasted at the party.
I think with him...
I mean, he's obviously another level of disgusting and,
Yeah, I don't think he was very calculated about it.
No.
Dr. Susan said, so right, class and asset disparity.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said the most dangerous, law enforcement and politicians in power.
Yeah, and like here's what I keep hearing over and over again. I've been hearing this, like, it seems like I feel like I'm hearing this every day now. About so I really think it's a very strong theme going on in life today, which is the class disparity as it relates to law in general, whether it is criminal or civil. If you don't have the money, it's like healthcare in America and the judicial system in America are on the same fucking track. You got to be rich or you got to be lucky. You got to be working for the man who's going to cover your butt with your legal expenses or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like if Leo. Like, legitimately, if Leo comes after me right now, I'm fucking completely toast. Like, I have nothing.
Don't tell him that.
He knows. He's just like, the only reason he hasn't done it is because he knows it'll sell a bunch of books even if I don't get the money. Like, he's just worried about selling a bunch of books.
He's like, man, Dale will crowdfund off that shit.
He knows, man, I'm going to trumpet that shit to the.
It's true.
And he also knows that it'll get picked up. The problem that he didn't count on was that it'll get picked up, right? But, his foot is on my neck. And it's all money.
Yeah.
I think I'm smarter than him. Personally, I do. I think I'm smarter than half the guys that work for him.
I still don't know who is responsible for putting the statement in that documentary that you're a liar and that you're illegally profiting. Like, that's the most asinine statement, and it's so hard to believe.
But it's hubris because
it's so hard to believe that it comes from a professional publicist's outfit. Like, it's just so weird.
But what if the publicist is like, he's got nothing, he has no power, he has no ability to do anything?
Well, they would still craft a better response than that.
He has a legal team. They're just not worried.
Weak.
They're just not worried about it.
It's just a really foolish thing to say. How strange.
Fucking pisses me off, I tell you. I thought he had more, Danny, victims going into the first trial because I thought they lost more than one.
Oh, Version of Me is with us on TikTok.
Yes, Stacy, what's up? Hey, Stacy, I got the scenes ready, and then I just remembered only a few minutes ago when I was scrolling to see if you were here, because I forgot to do the LSD scene in the church.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna grab one more scene. I'm glad I didn't send it because I was going to send it today, and then I got carried away with a bunch of other stuff that I had to take care of first.
That's a fun one.
And then as I was sitting here, I was like, oh, I wanted to add one more scene. So there's going to be 4 new scenes.
Bonus.
Yeah. And by the way, for everybody who's read the book and want those 4 scenes, I'm going to make it available to everybody. I will tell you how to get it when it's ready.
It's the book club special.
It's the book club kit.
Yes.
It's a book club kit. It just has scenes and it's got like book club questions. We were going to put a soundtrack in there. It's practically impossible to do with any kind of efficiency. Although maybe we'll figure something out down the road, but we don't have one now, unfortunately.
What I wanted to do was like a companion soundtrack so that while you guys are reading along, you could, it would like tell you, oh, play this song. This is the soundtrack of this. Yeah,
that's just, I as a reader, not that you're not a reader, you are, but I read quite a bit more some months, mm-hmm. and that would just drive me crazy. I couldn't do that. Like, to put up a sound is one thing. To be like, listen to Elliott Smith and you're gonna get my vibe. That's cool. Like, what they do in books now is they have this. They just have like
a list.
It's a playlist of
I know.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's like it might be 15 to 20 songs.
All I'm saying is that's not the vision. Okay, and so I was trying to create the vision, and it was a mess. So my vision is a mess, and then what you're suggesting is not the vision. So I have to figure out how to
figure it out.
Color inside the lines somehow.
Totally.
Version of Me said that Brock Turner lives in their hometown, in their town. Anytime anyone sees him out, we post on our community Facebook page. That is a good public service.
I loathe that person's existence on this earth.
Andrea Spencer's with us on TikTok.
Hey, what's happening?
Says, hey, party people.
What's up? We're partying. Are you partying?
Because there's never been a party like this.
This is the biggest party I've ever been to in my life. It's the greatest party of all time.
Delicate said, Angela, are we the same person? I did drugs in parks too.
Not me. Never once. Chris Pratt was caught hanging out with his ex-wife.
What? They have a kid together.
That's why they were hanging out. I am trying to find this thing that... Oh, did you see that the dude from Scarface died? Harris Yulin.
Who's that? Harris Yulin.
He died. He was 87. 87 years old. Bro, that gives me 32 more years. And if I'm
this
cogent,
guy, he's got such a recognizable face.
I know, he's that guy.
Do you want to put him up?
I'll put him up.
I can hear him when I see his face.
You can hear him, exactly. So our friend,
He's 87. I mean, that's a good run.
yeah, he
You
had a
know what I
great
mean?
run. Our man, all it says, I'm sorry, dead at 87. My bad. Harris Yulin, he is deceased. R.I.P. brother. Here he is in Scarface. Right here, look at this. Remember that?
He has a great face, man.
Yeah, he's a good actor, dude. He was his performance in that movie was absolutely stellar. Loved it. R.I.P. Mr. Yellen
What'd you say?
or Yulin.
He's a that guy.
He's a that guy. And that's how
Or you
we
see those actors, you're like, oh, it's that guy.
this is how we classified level of stardom. Like we knew their names,
Yeah.
but when you're casting a movie, when RD and I would be sitting around throwing casting ideas,
We just needed that.
you have your triple A list, guys, right? You got, you have like, because so if you want to put a star in a movie, you'd be like, dude, like Anton Yelchin, to be like, well, he's a that guy, bro. He's not like a star. He's just kind of a that guy. Because and that guys are people that you can't name, like common people who are not involved in Hollywood and who are like, they look at trailers like consumers are supposed to, like, oh, this is a product, maybe I'll go see it.
Some of my favorite actors are that guys.
100%, of course.
I can't always remember their names, but they're
No. Brad Dourif is a that guy. 100%. More people don't know who Brad Dourif is, but they see him and they're like,
Brad
oh, that
Dourif-
guy.
Brad Dourif is
Because that's how we got the name
incredible.
for it. Because
Right.
you say to the person, you go like, whatever, Danny Aiello or whatever. You go, the guy from what's the movie? I don't know. And then you show him the picture. Oh, that guy. Yes, that guy. He's a that guy.
some of them end up being huge too.
I was super sad to see he died.
Like Mads Mikkelsen used to be a that guy, and now everybody knows his name because he's a bigger celebrity.
He was a that guy.
was
Well,
a
that's
that
what
guy.
happens. Pedro was a that guy. Everyone starts out a that guy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. It's a level of stardom, but some guys never get out of that guy. You know who's a
Or
that
like
guy?
David Thewlis is a that guy.
Not well. Yes, he is. Yes. You know who's like a really that guy? You remember the bad guy from Ghost? You know who I'm talking about. The bad guy
Yes.
from Ghost. He's a that guy. He's like in 100 different things. He's a that guy. Baldoni's lawyers, by the way, they responded to Brian Friedman's stupid interview. If you haven't seen the Brian Friedman interview on TMZ, it's still there.
Tony Goldwyn.
Tony Goldwyn, that guy.
But he's got a huge career now.
He's still a that guy though. You see, I didn't know his fucking name. I didn't know his
I'd
name.
never heard his name in my life, and I recognized his
and you
face.
knew who he was because he's that guy. So Baldoni's.
So he was in Scandal, this show. So he's a big dude. No, he's not a that guy anymore. He's a guy.
Whatever. He was a guy. He wasn't
Okay,
that
I'm
guy.
sorry.
They all start at that guys, and sometimes they get.
That's
to,
how you know you're heading to the top.
I'm a that guy.
That's
I'm on
how
my
you know
way.
your name is going to be in lights.
It's like getting two stripes. You got two stripes. So Lively's lawyer responded, and they're in. I believed him in his interview. Again, this interview you can see on TMZ. TMZ has both the interviews here. I can just show you.
What is this?
Baldoni's lawyer, Michael Gottlieb, was interviewed. Here's the interview by Brian Friedman. I played a small snippet from it for you guys yesterday. But he responded today, and he responded to the nonsense that it was that he's like, bring it on. He's like, of course we want to do depositions, you fool.
Yeah, of course.
We sued you.
We sued you.
So and TMZ, like the reporters at TMZ, they're like they asked him 3 times. So is Blake going to sit down for a deposition? Is Blake going to sit down for a deposition? And he didn't actually kind of roundabout answered. And then he was like, yes, she's the plaintiff.
She's the plaintiff in the case. Of course she's going to.
The plaintiff has to sit for a
It's her
deposition.
testimony
Justin
that's-
Baldoni's going to sit, and then he went down the list. Melissa Nathan, he just went down the list.
Yeah.
All these people are going to sit for depositions, and he's like, and Discovery is going to go through August, and by the end of Discovery, we feel like we're going to have the case that we believe is going to vindicate everything that Blake Lively has asserted in her C2C complaint and thereafter.
Fantastic.
It was like a succinct. He's laughing at fucking.
How do we get
at
on
Friedman's.
How do we get on the newsletter email list?
And then he teased me because he
I
said
want daily updates.
he said live testimony. He goes, and we're gonna get in front of a jury with live testimony. And when he said live testimony, my like bias took over, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be on TV.
No. Womp womp.
Wah, wah. And then I was like, it's not gonna be on TV, you fool. You're a fool.
Yeah.
Ghost Guy was also in the Friday the 13th Part 6. Yes, he was. Exactly.
He was that guy.
He's that guy, bro.
Did you
Wait, was
ever-
he in Pet Cemetery? No.
Oh,
No. He wasn't.
maybe who was?
No. Was he?
What, the
no.
old one or the new one?
No, the old one.
That guy kind of looks like a bunch of other that guys, though.
Yeah, that's those. There's those guys. There's those that guys. They fucking look like they're like, oh, dude, he looks like. I'm trying to think of a good one. Anyway,
There's too many Pet Cemetery films.
well, they were OG.
Okay, 1989.
Is that what it was?
1989.
Oh my god, my foot went to sleep. What a really shitty thing to do.
The answer is no. He wasn't in
It wasn't him. Yeah, I now recognize in my head that it wasn't him. Oh, I don't want
Your
Danny
foot went
Masterson.
to sleep?
It did. It's. I'm about to get to the needles
Do you
part.
want me to bash it for
no,
you?
no, it's about to go to the needles part.
Should I strike it?
No, oh, God,
Maybe
no, that would be the worst.
Would you like me to stomp on your foot? Would that help?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
If you raise your
No.
foot above your head, sometimes
I moved it. You know when you move it and you get 1,000 needles.
1,000. You don't even know where they came from, but there's
That's
1,000.
That's probably where that whole like 1,000 needles thing came from. It's from a,
What 1,000 needles thing?
you know, like it's. Oh, you don't know. It's it's a. I don't know where it comes. I don't know where its origins in, but it's in video games all the time as a spell.
1,000 needles.
I'll cast 1,000 needles.
Where it feels like there's 1,000 needles in you?
No,
that's exactly where that comes from.
Yeah, and I shoot the 1,000 needles at you,
Oh,
and then half your health gone.
only half, huh?
Well, not
Seems like it'd
necessarily actually,
I
because
think it would feel a
I
lot
could
worse
boost
than
it.
that. Is it better?
No, it
You have
hurts.
to dance on it.
Look, I'm faking my way through it.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
That's the worst.
Do you want to go to Karen Reed? Are we near that part, or do you have more?
Oh, let me see. Do I have more? I mean, there's so much going on. Absolute horrors that never end. But
Well, we're not going to get into that.
in other news,
We don't cover horrors. No horrors here. Dakota Johnson said that Sandra Bullock sent her a voice note of support after Madame Webb, or Madame Webb,
Madam Webb, yeah.
won the Razzie Award for Worst Actress.
And who'd she get support from?
She said, I freaked out. Sandra Bullock sent her a voice note. Isn't that nice of Sandra?
Well, yeah, but unless it was like, could you imagine if Sandra Bullock sent you a voice note after you won like a Razzie for Worst Actress, and Sandra Bullock is just on the phone going, "I knew it." Can you imagine?
Yeah, right.
I always
She's
thought that about you too.
She's like, oh, she just like,
We're just
she-
assuming it's
her-
support, but what if it was like she just made it worse?
No, the
Salt
way
in the
she would
wound?
make it like the absolute worst is she'd call up and she'd be like, hi, Dakota. Hey, it's me. Listen, I am prepared to pay for you to go back to college.
Maybe you should just leave town.
Do you want to open up a restaurant? You look like a good hostess.
Maybe it's time for Plan B, huh? You think? There's only room for one of us in this town.
How can, I think winning a Razzie is not so bad.
No, of course not.
It did
dude.
wonders for Kevin Connolly's career. Oh, I guess he didn't win. See, he should have won.
Oh, I know. It's so easy for these celebrities to spin any negative press into something positive. Do you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
It's just so easy because the stakes are so low. Nobody cares. Unless
No.
the only thing people care about is whether they care. So if they make a big joke out of it, it takes the wind out of the sails of anybody who's like actually, disliking them. Like there's so much that they can do. I think one of the reasons why, who was it? I can't remember her name now. There was an actress who was like, her whole brand was being self-deprecating and like
Oh, there's a bunch that
crass
do that,
and stuff. And so it's just like, if you're like that, you can trip on your dress and just lean right into it. And it doesn't matter. You
For
know?
sure, of course.
It kind of makes you a little bulletproof in a business where your reputation is so fragile,
Self-deprecation is, it's...
So if something like that happens to me or you, like we should just lean into it. Just be like, this is the greatest day of my life. I have always wanted one of these.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's the way you should like approach life entirely, Like what was that self-help book, The Power of Now, is all about that. Like no matter what horrible thing is happening to you in your life, you should just act as if you've chosen it, like act as if this is something that you actually did want, so that you could.
It's a slightly insensitive thing to say.
Of course it is, because there's circumstances that can't possibly
I've just had
be
so
true.
many things that I did not choose.
Of
Yeah.
course, I know, but like,
And every time I hear it, it's like when the law of attraction was the biggest thing. The
I know.
secrets, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
What was it called? Secret something?
but what I'm saying is, it's like low stakes things like this, like, oh, you took some
The
reputation.
Secret. That was
you
what it
you
was
took
called.
some professional damage. No big
Yeah.
deal. Just lean into it as if you'd chosen it. Now people are talking about you. You have a chance to pivot it and talk about yourself in a more, whatever, favorable light, or pivot the conversation to something that's, your next project. You're sure will win 2 Razzies. I don't
Next
know.
year, I shall win 2 Razzies. I will be.
No way to
I will
go
be
but
the
up.
Sean Baker of Razzies. I will have 5 speeches prepared.
Yeah, Cosmic Urgency said that Halle Berry went and accepted her Razzie for Catwoman.
That's right, she did. Classy lady, dude.
Can you imagine crying? This is so great. I'm so grateful. I just want to thank my agent.
Lean into it. You're right.
Who
You're 100%
hates that I'm
right.
here.
I'm so pissed off at myself because I didn't do my vertical recording today. Now I have. That makes my life harder.
Don't be mad.
Sandra's happy she wasn't the worst. Ah. Sandra called up and she was like, this is Dr. Susan killing it on TikTok again.
Yeah.
She's like, Sandra calls up and she's like, thank you for taking one for me. Listen, I'm just calling to say, better you than me. Let me take you to the Ivy for a nice salad. Oh my God.
I have a problem, Dale.
Yeah.
I have a really itchy nose, but I don't want anybody who's watching this video to think that I'm like on cocaine.
Let me go Dale Solo.
Because I've already talked about how I did drugs in a park. So if I scratch my nose as much as I want to.
Angela's nodding out. Let me go to the single here.
Are you on the signal?
Yeah, I'm on the
Okay.
single.
I gotta really scratch.
Oh, that's gross, Angela. What are you doing? God, grab the towel.
I'm trying to be fast.
Get the towel. Use the water in the cup. It's like trying to describe the worst possible thing that's happening. Oh, I think you're bleeding. You might be bleeding.
That's great, Dale. Thanks.
Angela's back
I appreciate you.
after wiping her nose. All right, here we are. Only on YouTube, baby. Karen Reed, do you want to go there now? Or are we there yet?
Yes.
Karen Reed's trial was wild. Today was probably the wildest day that I have seen in this trial. I never saw the first trial, but this trial was wild. It was Rattinger, or whatever his last name is. He's a doctor for ARCA. He was back on the stand today for
He's the biomechanist.
the biomechanist.
So he's the guy who, so he's part of a team. One guy does the crash reconstruction, and then he tells you how the crash affected the person's body in the crash.
Yeah. Well, he's handling the right. He's handling the
body.
the
part.
body. While the other guy was handling what happens to the taillight and the car.
Right.
And then there was a third guy who was, I imagine, the low guy on
Playing
the
the
totem
really
pole.
cool music.
Yeah,
in
he was
the
like the low
background.
guy on the totem pole. What? I gotta what? Go get the sandwiches. Ham sandwiches,
You
apparently.
control the boombox, dude. Play the metal every time we start the crash.
So holy shit, was it explosive? Like it was like courtroom drama, but like not like the fakery stuff. You know, the stuff that Alessi can do sometimes when he's like
just
smashing the table
like
and be like
pounding the podium.
remedial, just smashing things. Well,
Did you mean to say irredeemable?
no,
What was the?
She's the callingest out chick ever, bro. She can't just let it flow.
I don't know what you meant to say.
Can't let it go. Got it? Like, nah, I gotta
Stupid nose
point out
is
his
so
inadequacies. Here's why I'm his editor, because he can't even speak properly. He, this Rattinger,
No, that's not how his name is said. What?
Rattinger. He's a good guy, real smart guy. He's an engineer, fucking solid witness for sure. And let me tell you, man, they went at it in like movie drama. Like, so what happened was, Prosecutor Brennan was a fucking belligerent asshole to this witness.
Really,
And
today,
he
like,
was
over and over
he
and
was
over
like
again.
talking over him.
It was horrible.
Like he wouldn't let him finish his sentences. I can't even believe, and the judge let him get away with most of it.
His name is Andrew Rentschler.
Rentschler, thank you. So Rentschler, Dr. Rentschler, he's a PhD. He fucking got after it with the prosecutor. and the prosecutor kept doing things. At one point, in a question, there was so much that went on today that was crazy. But
Well,
at one
you
point,
don't have to cover every little
at one
thing.
point, the one thing I want to, so he, I don't even know where to start with this. Actually, it really is that kind of a crazy day. There was an exchange where he kept prosecutor Brendan, he kept interrupting, or he kept like saying comments like, "Are you laughing? You think that's funny?" He's like, chastising the witness and just being brutal to the witness, right? Badgering the witness, making the witness generally feeling uncomfortable. All of it really bad, like really bad. Like you don't treat your witnesses the way that this guy was treating.
At one point, he was like, "Yeah, well, that's an interesting story, but why don't we go back to my question?"
Yeah, he kept doing that
Like,
over and
just
over again.
Weird comments like
now
that.
you can answer my question for me, and he was like, and it was all very like I'm doing it an injustice in the way that I'm describing it. It was absolutely unprofessional.
It was nasty.
It was an embarrassment, frankly. It was an embarrassment. And what happened was Jackson, on multiple occasions, objected, and then they did at least one sidebar, maybe two sidebars on it. And in the final moment, he said something derogatory or snide, some kind of snide remark to the witness. And Jackson spoke up, but he didn't allow the judge to just shut him down this time. So the judge was like, sidebar. And he's like, no. I want Mr. fucking Brennan to be reprimanded in front of this jury. No, I'm going to be drama. I'm drama.
Yeah, but you're
This shows, no, we're doing it. We're explosive.
Okay, but aside from
I
all
got a
of that,
compressor.
the jury heard from this expert witness about how it's impossible that this victim was struck by the defendant's car.
No, I know.
And that I think was really the takeaway from the day. If you don't want to go into every single detail about what this guy said today and the argument that ensued, I think that the biggest takeaway...
I do.
I know you do.
Well, let me get into the ones that I want to, because I don't. That to me is like the weak sauce of the day. Like, yes, he said but that's not the first witness to say that.
But the jury got to see X-rays. The jury got to see him describe
that was yesterday.
The lack of wounds on the victim's body from a car.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't match.
Today was the wild thing, because like today, for example,
today was a cross-examination.
Like, well, I know, but like Brennan.
But he got to say it so much more, is what I'm saying. Where he answered the question, where he was like, well, what you're asking doesn't make sense because this victim and that car never collided.
No, I know. But the thing that I thought was brilliant was that Brennan, he, on more than one occasion, provoked unbelievably damning answers to his questions. Like, he asked objectively horrible questions if you don't already know the answer. If you don't know what's going to come out of that witness's mouth when you ask the questions he was asking. And this witness got to school him so bad that the fucking videographer in the courtroom panned down, because he knew to get to Karen Reed and to the rest of those, because he knew there was going to be something going on at that table.
That's true.
And they were literally celebrating.
Yeah, she was grinning. She was like trying to control her grinning because it was such a KO.
The sum and substance of it was something from the witness. The testimony was, the sum and substance was, well, I know you want me to get into this conversation about what would happen if the how the arm is going to react when it gets hit by the car. But the problem, Mr. Brennan, is that the car didn't hit the arm. The car didn't hit any part of the body. So you want to have a conversation, and you want to have a conversation in front of these jurors. This is the sum and substance, of course. You want to have a conversation in front of these jurors about a scenario that you want me to talk about, but that scenario is not plausible. It's not scientifically plausible. So the answer is no, because it didn't happen. And they're just looking at each other going, oh my God.
The jury also got to see that the prosecutor, Brennan, was wasting so much of their time asking the crash reconstruction biomechanist about taillight pieces that were found at the scene. And the guy had to keep answering over and over again, this is not my expertise. I didn't look at any of that evidence because I am not...
No, he kept saying, no, I'm not.
Because I am not analyzing the site of where you say that this happened.
And why that's important.
Working on the victim.
And why, and this is such a great point you're making, because in the witness before, which is Dr.
Dr. Wolf.
No, not Dr. Wolf. The woman.
Oh.
The medical examiner whose name, so they brought in this renowned medical examiner whose name escapes me at the moment, but she had the same thing. She kept saying over and over again her answer, No, I'm not an accident reconstruction an accident reconstructionist. No, I'm not a
I'm a forensic pathologist. I wouldn't answer those
biomechanist engineer.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I'm a pathologist. I'm a this.
So it just
So
she's
the
showing
jury kept hearing that witness
I
after
know.
witness.
So the jury is
So
hearing
bad.
him like conduct improper questioning. He's just making himself look like a dilettante. I don't
dilettante.
understand.
Is that an unkind thing to say, dilettante?
Huh?
Can we say dilettante?
I think that it's okay if you call yourself a dilettante.
I miss halfwit.
Yeah, I think dilettante is like a fake it till you make it more connotation. Halfwit is like derogatory.
Improper. It's improper.
Well, like
It's derogatory for sure.
always derogatory.
My favorite thing
but
to call people.
But I think dilettante is like a kind of maybe like a little bit more polite way to say that like you don't really know what you're doing, but you're trying. Maybe you'll get there. Not yet.
Unfucking believable today on trial. And the jury got a light show. They got like a fireworks show that was just unbelievable on both ends. And the witness schooled Brennan on more than one occasion. And let me also point out though that it wasn't all good for the defense. In the beginning, the witness was, plain awful. They shut down my live.
Really?
If they shut down the TikTok's still going, but if they shut down TikTok, guys, just come over to YouTube. TikTok, they just don't let you talk like a human being, bro. So where was I?
Andrea Spencer's making fun of my. She just said that I have a hole in my nasal septum from all of that blow. I wasn't even doing those drugs. We were eating mushrooms in the park. It was a glorious, breezy, cool night in Southern California, and it was a wonderful experience until the fucking cops showed up, and I was the only one that they arrested. And later on, when the cop put his hand on my leg, I was like, "Oh, that explains it." Because all my friends got to go free. You know, I just got picked.
Are we staying on the Karen Reed stuff? Or are we?
Yeah, sure.
So okay, good. This fucker walked all over Brennan, but in the beginning it wasn't so. And here's how it opened up, and it was really uncomfortable. You remember this, of course, but the witness he wanted to go into these stories with his answers, and he wanted to like draw in like allegories, and like he wanted to bring in like personal metaphors. He wanted to drag his family. At one point, he says, "I'm a father of 2 children." He turns to the jury, bro, in a fucking murder trial, and he's like, "This is the witness for the defense." I was like, it looked bad for me. He was like, "I'm the father of 2 children."
Yeah, he wanted to tell a story.
Is this one of the, and he names their ages, you know, and then he says it's one of them. It's their birthday, and he wishes the kid a happy birthday
in a murder trial
on the stand of a televised murder trial. It was awful.
Well, it's also
and
like,
the judge was like, whoa, stop everything. And it was a bad moment for the trial. It was a bad moment for the defense.
What was so
and for that
horrible
witness.
about that choice was that this is a murder trial about the deceased is a son and a brother, and his family, his brother and his mother are in the courtroom.
Yeah.
While he's saying that, while
Exactly.
he's wishing his young kid a happy birthday.
A happy birthday on a
it's like,
murder trial.
I'm happy for you that you're a family man, but this is not the place.
It was, and like, what are you chipper about, dude? I know you're making $50,000 today or whatever the damn number is.
These people need to be better coached. Like, you're going into, like, you're basically giving testimony in a morgue. There's people who are grieving in this courtroom.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, on more than one occasion, I have been utterly appalled by the conduct of literally everybody.
Yeah.
Like, there was a moment where they were all, it's like the Little Richard thing that I get pissed off about, where people are just totally insensitive to the fact that people's feelings are being fucking hurt. And in this case, we have something far more worse than just the fact that you've got a concealed, embarrassment that you had nothing to do with. Instead, it's, it's a victim whose family member was taken away. They have to put up with that. But then also Karen Reed. Karen Reed too.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I'm fucking fighting for my life, guys. Ha, ha, ha. Have a good fucking time.
Well, she has been pretty smiley and criticized for it,
Well,
which I feel like is fair because, like I'm saying, like, I think that the victim has been.
She was smiling today.
The victim has been forgotten a lot in this trial.
Sure has.
Real
Couldn't agree. It's like as if the second trial, it's like it's all old hat. And it's like,
and I think it's like,
those are wounds that'll never heal. Especially like when you lose a loved one, it's a void that can never be filled. It's also sad no matter what age. But when you lose somebody, tragically, when you lose somebody in such a horrible, horrific way as this, and when you're now being dragged through a second murder trial, it's not getting easier on them.
I think the reason why so many times it seems that John O'Keefe's been forgotten in this trial is because I personally believe that the reason is that, like, subliminally, subconsciously, the defense knows that they're not responsible for John O'Keefe's death.
Yeah.
So he is missing from their mind in the way in which there isn't really a victim, because
Right.
they're the defendant has done nothing wrong.
Correct.
Okay. But also in the prosecution's mind, I believe that this whole thing has been a massive cover up.
Yeah.
And so I think subliminally, right, subconsciously,
Yeah.
in the prosecutor's mind, John O'Keefe is missing from this too.
Yeah.
Because this is not.
I agree.
Because he's not involved in this trial. The prosecutor knows that the defendant wasn't involved in his death, and so he's allowed to be missing from their conscious
In fact, the only
memory
time that I saw
also.
Brennan, show any form of that kind of humanity in his work has been when it was for a purpose of exploitation. Like I've never felt like a genuine moment of a connection between the prosecutor and the victim at all.
No.
And I feel like if you don't have that ingredient, you're missing most of what a juror is going to appeal to a jury in the first place. Because the first thing I want to feel is the empathy, compassion, the pain, the emptiness, the sadness, the tragedy. Like these are the things, and they're expressed through the state. They have to be, because that's the only place it comes from. This is the theater. This is the theater.
I totally agree with you. I think that that's a real failure on his part to not be a lot more serious. When he's making these little jokes or like chiding them as if they're
poking them like they're
just making he's made a big mockery of this thing that's supposed to be really solemn.
Yeah.
And it's strange.
Erica says if Brennan had video of John O'Keefe waving goodbye
As she drove off,
he'd argue to suppress it because he only cares about winning. And listen, is it that he's only caring about winning, or is he caring about covering it up? Like it's really at that point for me, because he's
not winning.
I feel like this goes all the way. He's definitely not winning. I feel like this goes all the way up to the judge. Like the rule, some of the rulings that this judge has made have left me completely speechless, and I'm a layman, so I can't trust that. So what do? I go look at some lawyers' opinions, and what are they doing? They're sitting there with their fucking jaws totally dropped open. They cannot believe the way this judge has been running this courtroom, and it stinks with bias. Stinks with bias.
That's right.
But you're right, Erica.
Dr. Susan
it's that bad.
on TikTok said, right, victim has family. Jill Coleman said, totally inappropriate.
Yeah.
I agree. Dr. Susan said, like Karen Reed, they're dressing up the victim and putting blue paint on as part of a test. That was so weird.
The dressing up was morbid.
Prosecution is complete cover-up by huge group and power.
Yeah.
Nancy's with us. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Nancy said, I thought Karen Reed may have been a little more humble. See why there is doubt, though. Terrible investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like barely any investigation.
Yeah, I Karen Reed's a problem, I would say. As far as like a defendant goes,
from her perspective,
she's difficult.
like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm being dragged through this, and you guys aren't going to steal my joy.
For sure.
But, the optics of it is not great.
Not
because
great.
She's, obviously she knows this man. And it makes, for people who think that she
knows him, I mean, yeah, intimately.
Yeah, right. But for people who think that she may be involved, they think that she is, not.
She's also like
being not.
She's also like as the dirty laundry goes, it's not good. Like she looks like shit.
Yeah.
Those Higgins texts, everyone's like looking at Higgins and going, "What a fucking loser." Well, she's no different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like she's like, this is not to mention John O'Keefe is somebody that
Dude, I'm sure they
known
thought
since
about
she was children.
I'm sure they thought about that when they framed her. They were like, "This will be easy."
Yeah,
she's not a good person.
It's easy not to like her. It's true. They did have all the ingredients. The only thing they didn't have was good evidence.
Nancy says, I think the prosecutor now at the end sees their evidence is lacking and he's just surrendering.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Speaking of surrendering, and I don't know that you saw this today, we fully expected him to bring Dr. Judson Welcher back to
for redirect. Yeah, for redirect. Rebuttal. Yeah.
Yes, rebuttal. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got that word.
Hey, I'm a layman legal guy.
I'm an auteur.
I'm an auteur. I'm a legal auteur. Dale Wheatley, legal auteur.
So we fully expected him to bring him back for rebuttal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But he has told the judge that he is not going to call any rebuttal witnesses. Not a single one.
Yeah, which is interesting because literally they had a hearing about it, and
Yes,
they argued in front of the judge.
Yeah, where he said
the judge ruled in his favor.
On May 15th, Hank Brennan,
Yeah.
right, the prosecutor he stated that Dr. Welcher.
He should not have the name Hank. He should that should be taken back from him. He should be stripped of it.
Henry Brennan stated that
Thank
Dr.
you.
Welcher found, in quotes, extraordinary issues in his first reviews of the material from ARCA. Brennan went on to say that Welcher needs to conduct his own tests to demonstrate the failures of the ARCA witnesses. And so we fully
Oh my
expected-
God! I didn't hear this.
So
This
we-
is such. I mean, obviously the jury didn't get to hear this.
So we
but
fully
how can you
expected
fucking
him
try
to-
to convict when you can't get even that?
So we fully expected him to bring Dr. Welcher back
course.
to be like, okay, well, now what do you think? You're our expert. What do you think about their expert opinion? And those extraordinary issues and those failures will never see the light of day.
Well,
because
here's what's
they are
extraordinary.
not bringing any witnesses.
What's
back.
super extraordinary about that is the witness today kind of turned him into a joke.
Yes.
Like a joke. Like at one point it's like argumentative, and he has the Welcher experiment up on the thing, and he's like, all he proves here is that if you do this, you get pain on your arm. That's all he proved. He said there is
So bad.
nothing scientific going on in
Nothing.
this experiment that has any relevancy to the argument put forward by the Commonwealth. He was like, this guy showed you how to get paint on an arm, and that's it.
So Nancy's right.
That, by the way, cost the taxpayers $400,000 for him to do that nonsense at 2 miles an hour.
So Nancy's right. I think the prosecutor now at the end sees their evidence is lacking and he's just surrendering. Well, yes, today he did just surrender. He's not going to bring forward a rebuttal.
There it is. They're literally going to go because they were planning. It looked like they were going to go. They're not even. The jury's not even going to be in tomorrow. They got the day off.
Oh, completely. I thought they were coming in at 10.
Nope. They got no. They have like they're doing hearings tomorrow. We're on.
No, I know. I thought
watching
that the
them.
jury was going to come back at 10.
Nope, jury's not in tomorrow at all. They're
That's so
actually
weird.
they're gonna tomorrow they're gonna argue over all these things. I think what the judge is doing is they're giving the jury the day off tomorrow, and then on Friday they're gonna in the presence of the jury they're gonna put this last bit on, and then they're gonna finish the trial and they're gonna give the case to the jury. Oh no, then they're gonna do closing arguments on Monday. Because if they do it this way, then the jury doesn't have to deliberate over the weekend. This is what I think she's doing. The thing about this judge that really bothers me, and look, there's a certain amount I imagine that you have to do in order to manage your jury, right? As a judge,
Yeah.
right? To make sure you're managing their state of mind, all this other stuff. It's so much pandering to the jury. It makes me kind of wonder what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like
I mean,
it's
not
like,
that it
and
matters.
she's, it's just like, you know,
I mean,
put
they're
him
not
through.
going to convict Karen Reed because somebody was nice to them. Nancy's asking, is she going to get a DUI charge? Because she's obviously admitting to being under the, too intoxicated to drive.
She can only be charged with what she's charged with.
Right. I know. I mean, I think it would be fair. If
They're not going to
she
charge
was-
her for a DUI after this,
Yeah.
and they're going to also. They also. I'm sure that she's had some kind of suspended license or some kind of situation that she's been living with all these years. So my guess is that if they would consider her punished on that, having been tried for murder.
Yeah.
They're like,
served.
yeah, you did the DUI, but we'll just like, you did 2 murder trials. You're broke. You don't have a job. You have no friends. We fucked up your whole life.
You made a fool of
and
our
by the way,
prosecutor.
come in here and we're going to kick your ass on a DUI while you're at it and give you a 90-day suspension or some shit, So I think it's just, it got washed up with the more severe charges for sure.
Okay. Last question.
One more. Okay. Well, and then I have to answer Alyssa's question and yeah.
That's the one.
Oh, go ahead.
Alyssa asked, how was the filming of the New York Post documentary? Because I think that's where a lot of people discovered you from.
Some people did. How was it? Well, it was. I was probably the New York Post during the New York Post documentary. I was probably at the peak of my depression. So I was deeply. I was in a very difficult and dangerous place with my mental health. So I was crying a lot. Like I would get on the treadmill, and it would just. I would just start crying. Like I would just start running and I was in bad shape. So the interview was kind of a real mix of excitement because it's like, okay, well, this could be something, and terror because I was reliving something that was terrible. It started out really bad, and Angela had to interrupt the whole interview because the guy like was going into my past, and I ended up speaking about all the real horrible shit that happened when I was a child. And you were like, that's going to stop right now. And you felt it was exploitative.
The guy started out his interview really manipulatively.
So it kind of tore me apart. And then, you know, "Oh Leonardo, Don't Shoot Your Load, Bro" song was a regretful decision by me.
It's really weird to just refer to it like it's...
So to tell the story, in the New York Post documentary, I flew to Los Angeles and I got interviewed in front of some of the old, you know, geography, right? So we were in front of the condo where RD and I lived, and you know, it was kind of legendary if you know, in our world, and it brought back a memory that he was shooting. He was, you know, filming me live at this spot, and I remembered, you know, Leo was still living with his mom into his early 20s. But he was getting laid a lot, and he couldn't like. And in Leo's house it's a cool little house, but he couldn't like bang girls with his mom. It's just like it's not. So he would bring them to RD Rob's condo, and then RD would like leave, and then he would bang these chicks, and then RD would come back, and then, you know, like Leo would call him like, you know, yo RD bro, I want to come over with this like latest piece, and then RD would sing the song, and he would go, "Oh, Leonardo, don't shoot your load, bro." And it was a really funny fucking song that we all sang because it was just because he would sing it all the time.
He always came up with songs.
And he would change the tempo too. Like he would go, "Oh, Leonardo, don't shoot your load, bro. Oh, Leonardo, don't shoot your load, bro."
He's such a theater kid.
Yeah, it's just really funny stuff. So I blurted it out during the New York Post interview, and I fucking regretted it. Like, just right on the spot, I regretted it. And I said, don't put it in there. And so I wrote him, and I was like, please just don't put that in the interview. And he was like, it's going in, it's gold. So that's kind of how it went, you know, where like there was like I had given myself to an organization that had no respect for me at all.
Yeah, he didn't respect you from the beginning.
Had no respect for my story, had no respect for the truth. Mm-hmm. It was a disaster in many ways, except that after it got published, it wasn't so bad for me in that, like, so most people who saw the New York Post interview, it was good for me. You can go into the comments and you can see people ripping me, but for the most part, it was good for me. So, you know, a mixed bag.
It was the start of your rise to stardom.
I'm not rising to start. I don't want any
sure
of that
you
shit.
are.
No, I don't want any of that.
Why not?
You know, I just want a little bit of money, make a movie, and
your
write
name
another
is
book.
going to be in lights.
I don't want any.
And he's going to be able to say, I discovered Dale Wheatley.
Jerry Meadows is asking you if I'm off camera yet. Are you off camera?
Well, he could just tune in.
Yeah, why don't you tune in, bro? Why don't you tune in? We would all fucking, you know, fucking snaky happy. Everyone be.
Cosmic Urgency is like, but what did you expect from the New York Post?
No, I fucked up. Well, it was all I had. You're right. The New York Post. I was hopeful. I was like, maybe, you know, the filmmaker seemed like a cool guy. He's not. So you're right. Yeah, it was the New York Post. But, you know, I was a beggar.
Oh, hi, Guilty Angel. She's with us. She said, sorry, I was getting my hair done. I bet it looks wonderful.
I bet you look fabulous.
I bet you look incredible.
We missed you. Well, you got back just in time for us to say goodnight.
Yeah.
We're done, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I had a really fun night tonight. So thank you for hanging out. Cause, and you know, you came late, but you brought it all.
Special shout out to Dr. Susan for making me laugh so much.
Dr. Susan fucking lit up the chat. Lit it up. But you guys always bring it up.
You guys are all really funny tonight.
Yeah, man. Everybody brought it.
I had a great time.
I had so much fun. And we will, of course, be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow, Karen Reed's trial is off for the jury, but there's still some things going on. This case is going to the jury on Friday. At the end of Friday, well, they're going to give closing on Monday and Tuesday probably, so it'll probably be a Wednesday jury. But it's going to go to the jury on Wednesday, and I don't think they're going to
be a 15-minute turnaround.
I'm like they're going to deliberate a day. They're going to be like, let's get to lunch. I'm hungry.
There's going to be one person who is like, Hey, are those x-rays real? Because the prosecutor said there weren't any x-rays, and then the defense showed us x-rays. So are they real?
Yeah.
Oh, they're real? Okay, then I know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Oh, so those bones truly didn't break? Oh, cool. Just pass the noodles.
Yeah.
It's a wrap, dude. We'll see, but I think it's a wrap. Anyway, you guys are absolutely tremendous and amazing. So glad we got to spend tonight with you, and I am truly excited to get to tomorrow night. I hope I'll be a little more prepared. Today was a little bit busy, but really do
late either.
appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Good night, Angela.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.